Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Cape Shit Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Hector, also known as CN6.
And I'm your other co-host. This is Hav, and we have assembled today to give you guys a super review on, I want to say this is the 5th MCU installment.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is the 5th MCU installment. This is our super review of Captain America, the First Avenger, released in 2011.
Oh, wow. Isn't that the same year as Thor?
Yeah, actually.
It is, right?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Damn.
Same year as Thor, man. Holy fuck. But before we get into it, guys, I just want to let you guys know that you guys can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Also, make sure you follow our socials at Cape Shit Podcast or go to capeshitpodcast.com and you'll see all of our links through there. Also, guys, make sure you follow Super Synopsis on our socials at Super Synopsis. That we will bring you video. We'll bring you Super Synopsis in a video format. So if you enjoy our Super Synopsis that we do, make sure you follow the socials because in the future we will be making our Super Synopsis in video form. But yeah, with that being said, suit the fuck up because we're about to get into it, man.
We're about to get into it.
Fucking Captain America, the First Avenger, dude.
About fucking time.
About time,
that
right?
we get this movie after so many glimpses and Easter eggs to his shield.
His shield ever since
the first Iron Man movie,
yeah.
Which you'd never caught.
I never caught it, man.
Yeah, man. I had to bring that up on Superfacts, and you were like, "For real?" And I was like, and
yeah,
I had showed you the clip afterwards, and I was like, "It's right there."
Yeah.
And then I know that the Incredible Hulk also name dropped Super Soldier Serum.
Oh, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So after finally,
we saw it there. Yeah, we saw it. Fucking
yes.
What's his name?
Abomination.
Yeah, Emil Blonsky.
Yes.
Fucking got injected with the serum. Not a strong dose, but
yeah, like a mutated version of it or whatever.
Yeah.
But after so many like name drops and Easter eggs and references, we finally get his movie.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, man, this is Captain America, bro. I'm gonna be honest, dude. Yeah. I saw this movie in theaters.
Did you?
When it came out, I was 11.
I think this is the movie I probably did not. I don't think I did. I don't remember seeing it in theaters. Back in.
Do you remember when you saw it? Like how old you were? Do you remember if it was around that time?
I saw it. I know I saw it before Avengers.
Oh, okay.
In 2012, which is the following year, right?
Yeah, no, that's when Avengers came out.
So yeah, I didn't see. I don't think I saw Captain America, bro, in theaters, but I made sure to watch it before the Avengers. But yeah, that's all I know. I can't tell you when or whatever, but yeah.
Gotcha.
But
I gotcha.
How was that experience, when you want to go see it in theater?
Okay,
well, I feel like you see everything in theater, bro. Like,
that's
what the
facts,
fuck,
right?
dude?
That's
it's
facts.
rare when I go when I was a kid.
Well, here's the thing, right? As a kid, right? And this
Yeah.
was years ago. This is back before, like, AMC was popping like that, I guess, at the time. I used to go to another movie theater that was like a small, like, little theater chain.
Right.
And this one was very basic. It was, like, not reclined seats. It was very, like...
Oh, yeah.
It was one of those, like, the tickets... was a receipt.
Yeah, it was like the paper.
The paper shit.
Thing.
Not like when you guys go to a fair, right, guys? If you go to a fair and you get tickets to ride the rides, or like not like a typical ticket, like an admission ticket. Like it literally was like a receipt, and that receipt you'd give it to like the usher in the front, and they would like, oh, okay, theater, whatever.
Ours was like a ticket. I still have them. I remember when I used to go to theaters, I used to just for some reason keep my tickets.
Them? That's cool, actually.
They're kind of thick and like they actually rip it. You know what I mean? Those things.
I'm trying to think. Was that ours then? Low-key, that's
here. I could pull up. Here, you finish your story.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pull them out.
Oh shit, he's about to go archive this shit. Because I mean, what you're saying, bro, the whole like ripping thing sounds familiar. Yeah. You're right. Maybe it wasn't a receipt. I might be tweaking. But yeah, guys, this was back then when like before this was like recliner seats. It was one of those, bro, where like you buy a ticket. And the seats were first come, first serve. Yeah. You feel me? So, like, it wasn't like today where we have, like, the luxury of going on, like, Fandango or whatever. You get to choose where you want to sit. Like, this was, like, you had to come in, buy your tickets, and then immediately put your purse or jacket or whatever in seats so that they know that those seats are taken. Yeah. And so, I remember seeing it like that, bro. And I was a kid, so, like, we weren't really popping like that with money. So with us, I remember my mom would buy like a large popcorn. Oh fuck, bro, you're right. It was these. Yes. Yeah. I'm tweaking, bro. I'm tweaking. Damn, bro, this is Logan.
It's Logan?
Yes, dude.
Is it?
That's Logan from 2017.
Dude, I kept that bitch.
That's crazy,
I
bro.
kept it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was these. It wasn't a receipt. It was these.
Should I take a picture of these?
Yeah, just like we did with the games for Thor.
All right. Well, you finish. I'm gonna take a picture of this and then we'll post it on.
Yeah, bro. I was saying, like, my memory from Captain America, bro, was like that old school theater, no reclined seats. It was basic as shit.
I have a bunch of them.
Yeah, bro. That one's Logan. Yeah, dude. I remember when I was a kid, bro. My mom would buy a large popcorn, and it's not like we would share it. Yeah. You know, I don't know if you remember back then in the movie theaters, bro. They would have that little like snow cone little thing that you would just scoop popcorn in. You'd give it to your kid.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, bro. That's when I was eating my popcorn. I was like, man, this is basic, just a little bit.
Okay, I'm back.
But
all right, yeah. So I took a picture of the ticket, and we're gonna post it on our socials. So check. Actually, anywhere, honestly, at Cape Shit Podcast. We're going to post the picture there, and I'll make sure to, if you guys haven't listened to it, I'll make sure that, hey, this isn't a random, this is something that we talked about in our Captain America super review. So, yeah, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, but that was basically my experience. I remember seeing it in that old-ass movie theater, bro, that old school one.
Yeah. Dude, those old school movie theaters, man, like, the one here in my local town, like, it's shut down, and, like, it's been vacant for
a while now.
How many years, bro? Like 2 years maybe now? To the point where like we got people sneaking in there, fucking lighting fires.
Yeah, dude.
Now it's all boarded up. It's fucked up.
Crazy shit.
But a lot of memories, man, that I had there. I remember my mom, during the summer, they would have like these free movies or something.
Yeah, makes sense.
They would have like these free movies, and it'd be like random, not new movies, just like older movies, and we would go. And I remember we would be sneaking in popcorn. My mom would bring like a huge bag, and we'd bring our own popcorn. Oh, and our own like fucking
snacks.
Allegedly, right, guys, in Minecraft, right? Because I don't think it's illegal, but
no,
it's like against their policy.
Yeah, it is. No, absolutely, it's not.
And in those seats, I remember the seats that they just like you just fold them down like a lawn chair, and like they're so uncomfortable. Yeah, I know, bro. Dude. And I kind of miss that.
It got to the point, really.
I kind of
for me, bro.
It's just a nostalgia, bro. Like I kind of miss like
that is true.
And like,
I feel like the problem with us now is that now that we're grown ass men, bro, those seats are not comfortable. Like we feel tight in those. It's like, dude, because like I
want to go see Oppenheimer. Remember that? Like it was those.
In a sense, it was like that.
It was those seats.
It was like that. The IMAX theaters, and I believe, bro, if I'm not mistaken, I think IMAX theaters, just in general, don't do reclined seats. They have to be They have to be like seated up.
Really?
I think so, because I've seen other movies in IMAX, and I remember those seats didn't recline either.
Oh shit! Okay.
So it's not just like an AMC thing, because the other IMAX theaters I would go to would be like from other chains. Right? I'm out here cheating on AMC, right? But
dude, I just realized I took a picture of the ticket and I basically doxed myself. It says our location and like what theater it is. I'll probably have to probably have to scribble that out, yo.
Yeah, bro. You may have to like.
We have to
cover that shit up with a Sharpie.
For real, Nah,
I'm kidding.
I'll probably do some editing. I think on iPhone I could do that.
Yeah, you can. You can. I can show you.
Yeah, I might just do that. But anyway, yeah,
man. I'm just happy that we have the theaters now, because back then our grown ass, bro, we can't fit in those seats anymore. And also because they're old school theaters, like they're not as cushioned, and you sit there for long enough. It's like when we saw Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
you just get tired, bro.
Especially like imagine watching Killers of the Flower Moon.
Nah, bro.
In those seats.
Fuck that. Dude. And people probably did. I think that came out in IMAX or some shit like that. I think, if I'm right.
But the thing is, if it's an IMAX, why the fuck are why?
I think
why
it's
those seats?
Because I think what it is, bro, and this is just my guess, because IMAX means it's a taller aspect ratio.
Yeah.
So if you were to recline, now that cuts off the bottom part of the movie. You know, because you're reclining yourself back. Now it's cutting like, because the thing is, when you go watch a regular movie, all movies are widescreen technically, right? The aspect ratio is like widescreen, so you can recline back, and technically your feet or other people's heads, or like in our AMC theater where like you have like the glass.
Oh, I hate that shit. I hate it because when you recline, you could see the fucking glass and like you see a line on the screen. That's true.
So ideally what you want to do is to the one that, but also like that's why what I do is I just recline my seat, but not too far back to where that glass goes over the screen. So I know what you mean. I hate that too. But the thing is now that happens, and oh fuck, right, it's annoying. But you gotta remember that movie's widescreen. Now imagine my IMAX where it's taller. Well, now there's no escaping the glass getting in the way of the screen, because now it's like, if you imagine, like, okay, because I know you have a TV mounted in your room, right? Like, if say if the glass was right under the screen, but you like recline enough, you're like, oh shit, it's in the way, so let me just recline forward. Now imagine if the screen was taller and the glass still remained, it still cuts off.
Yeah.
And if you recline, well, now you have the glass like taking up a third of the screen.
Yeah.
So I think what they do is they don't make you recline the seats and make you sit up so that nothing obscures the entire square.
That makes sense. But I just hate those seats, and not only that, they're super close. Like,
yeah,
with the other ones, they're kind of wider, and you actually have an armrest.
Yes,
and you could
For me,
but with the other seats, dude, you're super close.
Yeah,
you have to share. It's one small armrest for two people.
Yes,
it's like it's terrible.
And for me, bro, I think what they should do.
Yeah.
Really, the only issue that I see is I don't think I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't think it necessarily bothers me. That it doesn't recline, because like I said, right, like I've gone and seen IMAX movies in other movie theaters that were not AMC, and those theaters weren't, the seats were cushioned like AMC theaters, like when we go see shit in Dolby, it's cushioned like that. It's just that one AMC theater that we went to go see Oppenheimer, the seats were not cushioned. They were like the old school movie theaters where it's like old sofa cushion where that just kind of wears out over time. Like, it doesn't have that cushion anymore. So what they need to do really is just upgrade the seating. You don't want us to recline it? Fine. But at least give us a better cushioned seat and make them wider and have them each have an own armrest, and just kind of like update the seating. The screen, the projector, I'm sure all that's fire. And honestly, I don't think it bothers me so much that I can't recline my seat. It's just the fucking seating itself. But yeah, bro, I've been to other IMAX theaters where like the seating, it's actually like you get your own armrest, it's cushioned, you don't get tired. So I don't know, man. Really, it's just the cushioning of the seat.
I got you.
And having space.
Yeah.
But yeah, that theater that we went to for Oppenheimer was very much like those old school movie theaters that like here in your local one.
Yeah, bro, and it wasn't a good experience, dude. But yeah, with Captain America, like I said, bro, I saw the movie before Avengers, because obviously when Avengers was announced, bro, everybody was talking about it. It was like, yo, fucking Avengers. And what were you gonna say?
So you said you saw it before the Avengers.
I saw it before the Avengers. I don't think I saw it in theaters. It's probably one of those things where I saw it, allegedly
on Minecraft.
In
Minecraft, the pirated,
type shit.
Yeah,
like the movies or the games I showed you. Like,
yeah,
I think I still have some of those movies too.
I'm sure you do, bro. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
But I think that's how I saw it, dude. I don't remember being in theaters.
You remember watching it like at home at like a cousin's house or something like that? Like, do you have a vague memory of where you were?
I can't remember if it was in my house or someone else's house, bro. I really can't remember.
Gotcha.
It was so long ago. And obviously that was the last time I saw the movie.
Yeah.
So when I rewatched this movie,
it's like you're watching it for the first time.
Essentially. But then again, I did remember some things. I remember like the Red Skull. I remembered like the actual plot and everything. Him transforming, fucking Peggy. Like, I remember some things. And rewatching it, I'm like, yo, bro, this shit. I really like this movie, man.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with
really
you, bro. Like I said, so I know a few super reviews back, we were reviewing the Hulk. And I said, of all the Phase 1 movies, The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton is probably the movie that I've rewatched the least amount of times.
Yeah.
That is still true. Because I have seen Captain America, the First Avenger, comparatively speaking, I've seen it maybe a few more times in rewatches than I have The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
But I would say the number is probably off by like 1 or 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, like, Captain America: The First Avenger is another. What I would probably put that in second place as a Phase 1 movie. It's probably tied with Thor. Probably tied with Thor. I've only maybe rewatched it like once or twice or some shit like that. So it's probably there as one of those movies that I've just not rewatched as many times. Because let's be real, girl. Like, the movies I'm gonna rewatch is Iron Man 1 and the Avengers.
Dude, Iron Man was fire.
The big ones.
Yeah.
So with Captain America, like, I remember I watched it in theaters and I was a kid, right? You like anything. And I remember I rewatched it again much older. And I think I remember I liked it. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, okay, it's a good movie. I guess it's a good origin. It's whatever. Like, I'd probably give it like a 7. It's okay, right? And I left it at that. So in preparation for Cape shit, I rewatched it again on Disney Plus, and in a sense, it was kind of like you, or I'm kind of watching it with like a refreshed memory. I know what's gonna happen.
And we're watching it as like a full-grown, functioning human being.
Yeah, with actual, like, you know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where, and I think, here's another thing, right? And I'm sure people are going to hate us, or at least hate me for what I'm about to say, is that I'm also watching this through eyeballs, like through goggles, with the perspective of like comparing what the MCU is now.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and
that's
then,
true.
So comparatively, it's like, shit, this old-ass 2011 MCU movie's doing way better than what the movies we get now, right? So that's also plays another factor. But I'm trying to go into it like, okay, like, does the movie still hold up? I remember thinking it was good. I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say it's fucking fire. Like, I thought it was good. So will it still feel like that now that I'm about to rewatch it in preparation for Cape Shit? And I watched it, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what old me was thinking. Because upon rewatching this movie, I think I have a even greater appreciation for this first Captain America movie.
Yeah.
This movie is actually like fire.
It's good, man.
Right? And I
It's
know
really
a lot
good.
of people like to debate, and here's the thing, I'll admit, it is true. A lot of people like to debate that of his trilogy, that this is like the least favorite. Because obviously we have bigger and better shit that goes on in the second movie, and obviously in the third movie. So comparatively, yes, but that should not discredit this first movie, because what this movie does, dude, for his origin, how he establishes the characters, how they portray Steve Rogers, like we'll get into it more when we do the plot breakdown, but I just like was amazed at to like how accurate and how carefully constructed every little thing in this movie was. I was like, oh shit, like, because back then I was like, yeah, it's a good movie, like it did its purpose. I saw your origin, cool, buddy. You know, little, you know, your little, you know, he goes to sleep, right, in the ice, wakes up in present time. Okay, it does its job telling you the origin, how Captain America goes from World War II to modern times. But that was back then, and now we're watching it. I have a greater appreciation for how they told the story, how they do the characters, and I was literally like left with like that. Oh shit! Like, this fucking movie is actually badass. Now, I don't know if I got really hyped because Hulk, let me say that again. Well, Hulk, Iron Man 2, and Thor haven't necessarily been up there with Iron Man 1.
That's true.
Because Iron Man 1 was our 10 out of 10 film.
And I
then
think,
the next few movies never really quite lived up to that hype. So upon rewatching Captain America, comparing that movie with the last three, I'm like, oh shit, like, we kind of went from like be at a high to kind of like, oh yeah, these movies are pretty good, you know, we're kind of like there, to another high, and I wasn't expecting that. I'm like, oh shit, like this roller coaster of an, you know what I mean, like of a feeling. So I thought this movie was fire upon rewatching it. I was actually very surprised. I was like, oh shit, and it was one of those things where it's like, I'm surprised I don't rewatch this movie more often. Because this movie, like I said, does a very good job of telling the story, the origin, and more than anything, it does a better job of kind of getting the audience to understand how Steve Rogers thinks. Yeah. Because, you know, in the movie, we'll get to it a little later, but, you know, you just kind of like see how he approaches the whole thing with the war and how he wants to fight for the country and all that stuff. Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, it does two things for me. One, it's very comic book accurate, and they do a very good job of establishing how good-hearted Steve Rogers is. Side tangent, right? I hope that's what James Gunn does for Superman. When that comes out next year. I hope he does the same thing. But also, it's one of those things where like it sort of, you have like a greater appreciation for like the movies to come, and like when you see, like when you kind of like think ahead to the Avengers, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, his sequels, you kind of see like how his mentality of being good-hearted and always have a good morality kind of plays into the actions later on. So it's one of those things where it's just like, this movie does it best. Like, it did a really good job of breaking down his character.
Yeah, I definitely agree, bro. I felt the same way when I saw this movie, especially. And here's the thing, man. Could it be that it's because we're comparing current MCU with these movies, and could it be that's why? Like, okay, it's evident and it's clear, Hav, that we don't necessarily fuck with the current MCU and how they're doing certain things.
Not a lot of it.
You know,
not a lot of it. Yeah.
So my thing is, because of that, could it be that's why we're thinking these movies are like, oh, this shit
are fire, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Could it? Yes, my thing.
It might play a factor a little bit.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that we completely blind ourselves like that, because we have called out flaws in the previous movies.
Oh yeah, that's
you know,
true.
I remember, you know, you rated Iron Man 2 a 6.
Yeah.
And that shit, that should be at least an 8 for you, girl, if you're comparing it to current MCU. But we were able to like
That's
point
true.
out
You're right. Yeah.
what we didn't think worked in the movie, some things that we think didn't make sense, was kind of like, you know, the whole shit about like how the post-production just was like, you know, the filming and everything, how it played into a hand.
And real quick, just keep in mind, man, I did give Iron Man 2 a 6. That doesn't mean it's a bad movie. I don't think it was a bad movie.
No.
I don't even think it's a mediocre movie. It's definitely above average, but I don't think it was just quite there. I thought it was fair. I thought it was okay. I thought it was passable. You know? But yeah, I just wanted to clear that up, because some people think that a 6 is 7.
It's
like,
trash.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, bro, not necessarily.
We'll let you know when something's trash.
Oh yeah, man. We'll get to those. We'll get to those, man. But what's it called? No, yeah, I don't think we do that. I mean, it does play a factor. Like,
yeah, for sure.
You get that feeling, right? You get that, like, you know, they don't make them like they used to. Type
Yeah,
shit, right? But I don't think, at least I know we don't for a fact let that cloud our judgment into where we're like, this movie's immediately a 10, because you know, in Thor's first movie, he's not in love with the hammer type shit. It's like, we don't really let what the current MCU is doing cloud our judgment too much. I don't think it does play a factor, because you're left with that feeling of like, they don't make them like they used to. Like, damn, back when the MCU was in their prime. But at least for me, I still look out for like
actual
plot
flaws.
consistencies, plot, like characters' motives, consistency, making sure the plot's good, making sure nothing was rushed, nothing was left out, if relationships were solidified. Like, I look out for stuff like that. And like I said earlier, man, I feel like this movie did it all very, very well.
No, absolutely, bro. I definitely agree. And if anything, I think my biggest flaw in this movie, I do have one big flaw.
Yeah, okay.
In this movie, and I don't know. I guess maybe we'll get to that.
We'll get to it.
I think we'll get to it. I think we will.
That's fine.
We
Yeah,
definitely will.
We can wait it out.
So I mean, with that being said, I mean, let's get into the plot breakdown, right?
Yeah. So with the plot breakdown, guys. So we get into the movie. The movie opens up in its modern times, and I remember like you just kind of see these people, and they're like digging around in the Arctic, and you're just kind of like, what? Yeah. And they blow a hole in the underground, and they drop down, and they're like, we found it, and it's like they found something down there, and you see someone like breaking through an ice cube, or an ice block, I mean, and someone shines a flashlight, and you see the star of Captain America's shield under the ice. And that kind of gives the implication that they found Captain America.
Yep.
Then after that, we get the Marvel Studios title card, and then we are now flashed back into World War II, where the first person that we are introduced to is a Hydra commander, right? This guy this guy named Johann Schmidt. So Johann Schmidt is a Hydra commander who is breaking down, like, I believe he was in a castle, and he has these hostages with him because he's looking for the Tesseract, which is an artifact that wields unbearable power.
Exactly.
Shit, right?
And fun fact, just really quick one fun fact.
Yes.
Is that the Tesseract in the comic books is called the Cosmic Cube.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
And in the movies, for some reason, they changed the name to the Tesseract.
Another fun fact.
Yeah.
Back to you, girl. Uno reverse. If you remember in the movie, I can't remember. I think it was Johann. He literally says that it's an artifact that was hailed down as one of the most it was hailed down as one of the most precious artifacts in Odin's treasure room.
Oh.
Yeah, so he actually name drops Odin, which kind of further solidifies the connection of all these MCU movies, that they're all connected in the same universe, which we're like, well, duh. But you got to remember, this was 2011.
Yep.
This is back when Marvel Studios was trying this new thing about making movies that were connected. And at this point, we knew they would be connected, but it's just one of those things where, like, it's still cool to think about, oh shit, he just name dropped Odin.
Where they sprinkled like those small details.
It's like, oh shit, he just name dropped Odin, and I just saw that Thor movie months ago in theaters, or some shit, or like, oh, I saw Phil Coulson, he was an Iron Man. So Yeah, no, that's like where he literally just name drops Odin by name in the movie, which is I think is really cool. Another question I wanted to ask you: do you think you would have preferred if the MCU kept the original name, Cosmic Cube, or do you think Tesseract sounds better? Do you think it doesn't matter, or
honestly,
what's your thoughts on that?
Okay, right. So,
because I know you're more like,
yeah,
you're more like two things. You're more like, oh, I liked it when it's consistent with the source material, and you're also more educated in comic book lore than I am.
So, I mean, what the Cosmic Cube, right? They have it. They did it right in the movies in a sense. How it's really powerful. The Cosmic Cube, you could literally alter reality. You could shape matter. It's OP as fuck, and it's quite evident that Red Skull wants that. Same thing with Thanos and everything. Same thing with Loki. It just makes sense, right? The whole name thing, I don't think it bothers me personally. If anything, Cosmic Cube, if we're gonna be honest, is kind of like generic. Because like, oh, you could alter reality and universe. What should we call it? A cosmic, and it's the shape of a cube. Let's call it Cosmic Cube.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of generic in a sense. So when they changed it to Tesseract, I was like, honestly, that kind of sounds cooler. That kind of does sound cooler. Tesseract.
Yeah, it does.
The Tesseract. Like, it sounds cooler. It sounds like an actual artifact or something like that. But yeah, that's just my opinion with that. I didn't really mind the name change, to be honest.
And I think it's also cool that that the Tesseract was actually teased in the Thor movie in the post-credit scene when we found out Loki's still alive. And that scientist guy gets invited over to S.H.I.E.L.D. with Nick Fury, and he shows him the Tesseract, right? And now we're going to jump into the next MCU movie where we dive deeper into, like, how did S.H.I.E.L.D. get a hold of the Tesseract, or what power does it hold, and all this stuff, right? So that's another way of like how these movies were carefully constructed and how they're connected, because they tease the Tesseract in the post-credit scene of the last movie. Now we're in the movie that we get more details of the Tesseract.
Exactly, bro.
And that's another thing that I appreciate, especially the first phase of Marvel, because you see it right here. Like, this is an example, one of many, right, that we've seen before, is that I feel like nowadays Marvel tries to do what they did before, like in phase 1, where they try to connect the movies seamlessly in a way.
Yeah.
But now I feel like they've gotten lazier with it. I think we've talked about this. I could have sworn we had a conversation about this. I can't remember if it was Cape Shit or HRV, but I basically mentioned how, for example, like this is an example, right? So in Thor, the post-credit scene, Nick Fury presents the Tesseract to the scientist guy. I forgot his name. It was Jane Foster's partner. I forgot the dude's name. And he's like, what is it? It's like, we were hoping you would tell us. And that's when you see Loki, right? And you find out Loki's alive. Now what happens, right? After Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger comes out, that Tesseract, the Cosmic Cube, is now in this movie, and this is most likely the movie we're going to find out more about the cube. So kind of like a seamless connection from one movie to another. Yeah. Now, if we were to compare that to the current MCU, where I say that they've gotten lazier, now their way of connecting movies is just by having literal characters from other movies cameo into the movie for almost, if you think about it, no reason at all. Yeah. Just to kind of prove to you, hey, y'all, the movies are still connected. And the one example that comes to my head first is the Marvels, where they save the Skrulls, their planet, from like crumbling. And then that's when Valkyrie comes in, and she's like, "Oh, let me take them with me to New Asgard." And I get it, but it's one of those things where it's like, that's just one example. There are multiple examples of just literally just having the MCU bring in a character for one cameo, for one scene, to kind of tell you, oh shit, it's connected. Yeah. And a part of me wishes that they would connect the movies more subtly, the way they used to do for the Phase 1 movies. Just like when I talk about the Tesseract.
I definitely agree, bro.
Another example would be Wong showing up in the post-credit scene for Shang-Chi.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, they would all go to karaoke because it's a comedic moment or whatever the fuck.
I remember.
And like stuff like that, bro. Like, it's one of those things where I wish the MCU would go back to like the Phase 1 era, where they would connect their movies seamlessly, kind of like subtly. One of those, like, if you notice it, if you hear it, like another one, right? Johan name dropping Odin, something like that. Can you imagine how do you think, right? The movie, right? The scene plays out. Well, I'm looking for the Tesseract, one of the most precious artifacts in Odin's treasure room. Cool, right? Now, what if Odin just shows up in World War II?
That's mine, buddy.
That's mine, buddy. Imagine that now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. You'd be like, that's so out of place. Yeah. There was no need for that. What the fuck? Like, so for me, I wish that current MCU would connect the movies a little more subtly and low key, and by doing it low key, it's a lot more seamless, like in Phase 1. And then what they do now, where literally they just barge characters from another movie into their movie as a cameo for a comedic moment or whatever, to kind of give you the implication of, oh, the movies are connected. But you don't got to go that far. Yeah. My thing is, like, you didn't have to do all that. Like, you could just, like, because by doing that, now you're compromising the movie. You know what I mean? By having Valkyrie show up in a movie called The Marvels, where they're not connected to Asgard in any way, shape, or form, kind of compromises the movie a bit. You know what I mean? Like I said, a movie that takes place in World War II, and they got fucking tanks and shit rolling up, and the Nazis are uprising, and Hitler's, you know, doing his thing. For Odin, the mythical god of all gods, to show up in the battlefield, like, makes no sense. And it's like a conflict of just like themes, and you know what I mean. So it's one of those things where I like shit like that, name drops, subtle hints, things that if you don't catch it, you miss it. Yeah, that would connect the movies.
And the reason why it works, bro, is because when they do that, you're more immersed in the universe because you are the one making the connections.
Exactly.
You know, you're the one making the connections, and you're like, holy shit, that's actually pretty cool.
And I feel as though current MCU kind of holds your hand through it and makes it. If not holding your hand, then just shoves in your face, hey y'all, this universe connected. Look at Wong talking to Shang-Chi. Look at Valkyrie showing up in the Marvels, you know. And then all of a sudden, oh shit, like here's Professor X and Doctor Strange, right? And like it's like, to me it's just like, okay, well that's a bad example, right? Because Doctor Strange dealt with the multiverse. I guess I'll let that slide. But well, when I'm talking about like the Marvels, the whole Shang-Chi and Wong thing, like it's so like lazy and it's just so obvious. And for me, I would have liked it more if they went back to the old like Phase 1 era where like the connections were subtle. Yeah, just little name drops.
Another perfect example that I could think of that does that, bro, is the Netflix's Marvel universe. When it comes to
the Defenders saga.
Yeah, the Defenders, Daredevil, fucking Iron Fist, Jessica Jones. They all do the same thing. When I would watch them, bro, like they would drop subtle things like, I don't know, for example, Jessica Jones could be doing her thing and she hears like, oh, well, there's somebody out in Hell's Kitchen doing some bullshit. And he's like, huh, that was... She's just like, oh, okay, that's strange. And that's it. That's all you hear. But then you understand, oh, shit, they're referring Daredevil. Yes. Or they're referring these events that happen in Daredevil or certain events that happen in Luke Cage and stuff. And that's another perfect example, bro. I can't wait till we, like, in the future, whenever we do get to those shows, because, man, those shows are fire, man.
Yeah, man. But I just wish that the MCU would go back to that, bro.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
I agree, man.
It's like, I'm just thinking, like, imagine a world where we got a Captain America movie, where Odin just shows up. Dude, current MCU would do that.
Probably. Yo, what up, bro? Like, what up? Who the fuck are you? It's like, hey, man, don't worry. Just know that cube is mine.
It's mine. And then
you gotta get it for me. I'm out.
Type shit, like go get it for me, and I'll grant you unlimited power to win the war. Like what the fuck are you talking about? Nah, dude, current MCU would do that in its laziness. They would do that.
I got you.
As a way to connect the movies, bro. Fuck that.
Yeah,
but I believe when they're in the church, they actually do find the cube.
Yeah, so Johan eventually does find the cube. Yeah, he ends up killing the church keeper.
Yeah, that was the hostage that he was keeping around.
And he ends up finding it, and then he opens it up. He's like, this is my power. Some typical villain shit. Typical villain shit. And then after that, now we cut into actually in 1943 where we meet Steve Rogers. And this is the part where he's trying to
get into the military.
Yep.
And you know, like everyone's going one by one, and he's like the smallest, scrawny guy in the entire line.
And like he has a weak immune system as well. Like
he's
sick or like he's allergic to multiple things.
I believe, if I remember, because I saw this movie weeks back, I believe the
I
guy
did
was
too.
like,
I saw it the week I thought we were gonna record.
yeah,
but that was my fault. I didn't realize that. Oh yeah, you were busy.
shit came
that
up.
was, that was the last time I saw.
I saw it too, but if I remember correctly, I think the guy was like, "Bro,
You weak as hell.
no, yeah, right."
okay.
He says that technically, in a sense, he does say that. But I remember he said something like, "Your allergies alone makes you unqualified,
Yeah.
let alone
Your
everything
height.
else that you
Yeah,
have." Because
yeah.
like he has like disabilities, like a weak immune system, like he has a bunch of shit.
A poor heart or something. I don't. I could have sworn that he kind of listed, or I think there was a scene where it showed like the report and you
Yeah.
could see the things that he had.
Yes.
If you really paid attention. But yeah, so Steve Rogers, man, he's just trying to be patriotic, man. He's just trying to fight Hitler, man. Trying to fight for his fucking
Yeah, dude.
for his country. And so he's out here trying to get into the military, and with multiple aliases, man. We actually find out that he's faking his name and like faking where he's from and going to different recruitment camps, and they're all rejecting his ass.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, they're all rejecting his ass. And is this the part where don't we get? It says we cut through what, the Stark Expo here, and
So-
that's where we meet Bucky.
Yeah, so we meet Bucky because Steve eventually gets into it with some guy
Oh,
who's
that's
beating him
right,
up in the
yes,
alley,
right.
and then that's when he grabs the trash can lid and it looks like
Oh,
a
that's
shield.
right. You're right. Yes,
And he
you're right.
delivers the iconic line, right? "I could do this all day."
I could do this. Yeah.
And then like he's like, "You just don't know when to quit."
That one,
like,
that hit. Now watching it, like after everything,
Yes.
I'm oh shit.
That's where it started.
That's where it started.
Yeah,
Alright,
and
I
that
gotcha.
scene will get said more and more throughout the movies, and
Exactly.
dude, it just fucking hits.
It hits.
That's when Bucky shows up. So he has a friend, Ryan James Buchanan. Everyone calls him Bucky as a nickname, and he comes in and basically whoops the dude's ass, and he's like, "Get the hell out of here," and all this shit. And he's like, "Damn, bro, you're still getting your ass whooped. Like, what are you trying to do, right?" And it's one of those things where he just says, "I don't like bullies." Like he just doesn't like people who push people around. And he's like, "Man, you're stressed out about like trying to get into the military. Like, let's just try to get our minds off of shit. Let's go to the Stark Expo." That's where they end up going to the expo, and we meet a much younger Howard Stark.
Oh, yeah.
Who in this movie is played by Dominic Cooper, and he actually comes back to play Howard Stark again in the Agent Carter TV show. Because Agent Carter takes place basically in the same era. It takes place after the events of First Avenger. And so he's like showing a prototype flying car that like breaks down and shit.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, we'll fix that later," type shit, right?
Yeah.
And I think as they were watching, it was like a double date. He had like these two girls with him, and like they were supposed to double date or whatever. But Steve's just kind of uninterested because he's trying to get in the military. So he fucks off. Like he just kind of like disappears. And, Bucky's one of those things where he's talking to himself, and he's like, "Right, Steve?" And
he's gone.
Where'd he go?
Like, where'd he go?
And then I love this scene, bro. This is such a great scene. Again, this movie, like, it surprised me. Like, this movie is so good. It's that scene where, like, those dudes are with their girlfriends, and they're stepping onto that scale thing, and their face shows up in that, like, soldier cutout on the wall. And it's one of those things where, like, your face shows up in a cutout of a soldier helmet and a soldier uniform, right? And then he steps off, right? And they walk off. Steve tries to get up on it, and his face doesn't even fit the height of the cutout. Only like from like where the bridge of his nose is to the top of his head fits in that cutout.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where he's just like, he's trying to like, he's admitting defeat, where he's just like, "Damn, I'm really not meant for this." And then that's where Bucky's like, "There you are, like, come on, man, these girls are waiting on us." And he's like, "Man, fuck all this, fuck those 304s, man. I'm just trying to fight for this country."
For real.
You think I'm trying to fight for pussy right now?
Hell nah.
Hell no. Hey, that's
Hell
not
no.
me for real.
Europe needs to be liberated. That pussy
Man.
already liberated. Everybody in that. Everybody. It ain't even. Shit ain't even mine. It's just my turn. But listen, before we go further, too, back to the scene where he's getting beat up, right? And he says, "I can do this all day."
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I like this scene as well because this is the first moment where we see Steve Rogers' resilience and of him not wanting to give up.
Yes, dude.
And that's like a major
Theme
and a major like characteristic that Steve Rogers
has in future movies.
Exactly.
And that's another thing why, like I said, bro, I underestimate Captain America, like this first movie, because it literally displays the characteristics and his motives and everything so well. And then when you connect that to the future movies of where you're going to see him go for in the next future movies and like how his story goes, like it all just hits different, like you said. So yeah, no, dude, this movie does a really good job. So then after that, right, Bucky eventually, says goodbye because this was like the last day that they could hang out together before he actually gets what's the word? Deployed.
Oh yeah, because he's getting deployed.
Yeah, so he's getting deployed, and that's where they exchange that scene, right? Like, well, don't do anything stupid till I get back. Mm-hmm. And Steve is like, "How can I? You're taking all the stupid with you."
Yeah,
and that's cool, right? But while they're having this conversation,
and sorry to cut you off, but speaking of that, I really like how they build Steve Rogers and Bucky's relationship. Yeah, because even from the very beginning, even in this scene alone, right? You could tell they're boys, man. Even that line, "Oh, you're taking all stupid with you." You could tell they've been buds, man, for a long time. They're brothers, bro.
Yeah, they're basically.
And throughout the movie, we get more of that. And I don't know, I just really like how the relationship between them is done in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Me too. So in that conversation, right, they're like basically Steve is just like, fuck these 304s, man. You go fuck about this double date. What I'm trying to do is fight for my country. Like I'm just trying to do what's right because Nazis are going crazy out here. Hitler's fucking shit up. I just need to do something good because that's what good people do. I want to do some good. And Bucky's like, well, bro, you've tried. You can't. It is what it is. So while they're having this conversation, unbeknownst to both of them, this other man is actually overhearing the conversation. And we later find out that this man is a scientist, right, who goes by the name of Abraham Erskine.
Erskine, yeah.
Yeah, so Dr. Erskine, actually then approaches Steve Rogers in private, and they have a conversation together, and he's basically like, why are you trying to join the military and this and that? And I think if I remember correctly, Steve thought like, is this a test?
So what happened is after that conversation they had with Bucky, right, and after the eavesdropping and everything that Abraham was doing, Steve decided to go and enlist one more time. Remember that? He decided to go ahead and try one more time, and that's where the guy caught on. He says, "What the heck?" Is like, "This doesn't seem right. Whatever. I think I know you." And they're catching on. It's like, "Hey, I think we know you, and you're using fake names and fake addresses and shit." And that's where the person that's doing the recruitment leaves, and Steve Rogers like feeling uneasy because like, "Oh shit, I'm getting caught. They're about to bring up the fucking they're about to bring the police or whoever the fuck
involved."
Yeah, but instead it's Abraham that comes in, and that's when he escorts him out, and that's when he starts questioning, like, "So where are you from?" And then obviously he says where he's from, and he's
Brooklyn.
like, and he's lying. No, Steve Rogers lies.
He lies.
Yeah, there's no reason to lie. Come on. And this is the part where Steve is what you're saying. Is this a test? Because he doesn't know if he's in trouble or if like is he actually being questioned to actually being recruited, so that's what was happening.
And so this basically is more like an interview. It's more so like him trying to get to know him because he's trying to see why someone, even though who is very much not qualified to be in the military, wants to be in the military so far. And that's where he delivers, a lot of the iconic Captain America lines like, "I don't like bullies. I think it's what's right. I just want to do something right with the world. I don't want money out of it. I don't want, the clout or nothing. It's just a good thing that I want to do. Like I feel like I could be doing good for this world."
And so with that, right, fucking Erskine, right? Erskine eventually tries to enlist him and says, "Hey man, I got you a way out, man. Join Project Rebirth." Right? That's a super soldier experiment being conducted by the Strategic Scientific Reserve under the supervision of he's Doctor, right? Dr. Erskine?
Yeah.
And under, what was the other guy's name? There was another guy involved, because I know Peggy Carter was involved in that project.
And it was like, if I'm not mistaken, it had to have been that war general, the one who didn't believe in him. Wasn't it?
See, let me look at the notes. Chester Phillips, is that him?
Yeah, see the war general who's like
Chester Phillips. Yes, that's him.
Yeah, where it's like, who is this kid? Like,
yeah, so Erskine, Chester Phillips, the general, and then Peggy Carter are in that Project Rebirth where they're experimenting the super soldier serum, basically. And so now that Steve Rogers like, "Yo, man, I'm in. When I'm out, I'm in." Even when I'm out, I'm in.
And he was literally out.
Like
they wouldn't even let him in.
They wouldn't let him in. And so now he's going under basic training, man. This is the part where we see him kind of struggling with the basic training.
He can't keep up with like the crawling, the the climbing of the rope, the cardio of the running. He gets tired easily, you know. And you even have the other recruits there, the other soldier guys that are in basic training, like fucking with him. Like they'd be kicking him back, and they're like, "Fuck you, Roger," like type shit. Like they just keep picking on him.
And this is the part as well where we see Peggy Carter for the first time, right? Like,
yeah, so she eventually she first notices him because she realizes he does not belong.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
So
here,
what's
buddy?
he really doing here? But it's not like whereas Commander Phillips is like, he doesn't belong here. Fuck this guy. Why is he even here to begin with? She notices. Excuse me. She notices like he shouldn't be here. He's not qualified. Like he's short, scrawny. He's like none of the characteristics. But rather than being like he shouldn't be here, like get him out of here, right? She's like, there's a reason he's here, so let me keep an eye on him and see what he's got. And she starts to notice, okay, this kid's got heart. He's a good man with a good heart. He's trying to, even though he can't climb the rope or can't have a good cardio, he's trying his damnedest to like, you know, what's it called, to actually do right. And that's where she started taking an interest in him from very early on. And then I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the scene where we see them running? And then they get to the flagpole, and they're like, who can get the flag, rides back to the base with Agent Carter, and obviously because she's bad as hell.
Yeah, they're
right?
like everybody trying.
Oh shit! Everyone's just like rummaging each other, and then like you see a bunch of dudes trying to come up to the flagpole, but like it's slippery, and they can't come down. So they're just like, oh, fuck it, right? Like they admit defeat. Then shortly behind them is Steve Rogers coming up because, you know, he has bad cardio, so he's way in the back. He wasn't keeping up running with the rest of the guys. He finally shows up, and then he just goes up to the flagpole, and he pulls that one pin out that drops the whole fucking flagpole that's standing upward. He just brings it the fuck down to the ground. Then he just goes up to it, unhooks the flag, wraps it around, gives it to the commander. It's like, here you go, General.
And he's like, thank you or something.
And then he gets into the fucking car with Peggy, and they ride off, bro. Like on some G shit. I'm like, that's crazy.
And everybody's like looking at, like, staring and shocked.
Like, ain't no way that scrawny motherfucker just rode back with that baddie.
For real.
Okay, here's the problem, right? If that were me, Hector, I'd kill him.
What do you mean?
Like, he gets to ride. This scrawny motherfucker gets to ride back to the military base with that baddie.
That's crazy.
Fuck that. And you know what's fucked, bro? I was like, I'd be the reason there's no Captain America in this world.
That's crazy.
Be like, nah,
I ain't letting that slide.
Like, I'll kill him in his sleep, bro.
It's Agent Carter's mine.
Even though they might catch my ass, I'm in jail now.
That's facts.
But if I can't have her, none of y'all
can have it. That's some crazy shit. That's some crazy. But here's the thing, man. Listen, with Peggy Carter, there are some jokes that I want to make because it's kind of like, because I guess I could maybe mention it a little bit. Is we see her not really interested in him that much. Sure. Until after the fact.
Yeah, that's true.
World. It's an evil. Hey man, she saw them pecs and she was on deck and she said, "Let's get it." Or some bullshit.
Bro.
Hey man, it's an evil world. But we see some subtle changes, right? And there's a specific scene that I really like that kind of shows and kind of gives an alley-oop to where Agent Carter is kind of being interested in Steve Rogers. You know, so okay, so after that scene, we're at the night before the treatment, that the super soldier serum.
Oh, he has a conversation with
Erskine. Exactly.
They share a drink together.
Exactly, and this is the part where he reveals to Rogers that Schmidt underwent an imperfect version of the procedure of the super soldier serum.
Yeah, bro.
And that suffered negative side effects due to his inner ambition for power and obsession. With becoming the quote unquote the superior man. The superior man being, I think he mentioned it. The superior man can wield the Tesseract or something. I could have sworn he mentioned that in the beginning or something.
And that's why, like, Johann is the one that's like going after it.
Exactly. So because of for whatever reason, because of his inner evil and hunger for power, the super soldier serum didn't necessarily. It worked, but it worked in a negative way. Yeah, because he had that
in a way that wasn't supposed to go down.
Exactly.
Basically.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And so he then reassures Rogers that he chose him because he believed Rogers was inherently good, and that he's been weak, his whole life, and he would not lose respect for the strength that he would gain.
That's facts. I remember in the conversation he mentioned something like that people who are already strong take the strength, take infinite strength like the Tesseract.
Exactly.
An advantage, like they abuse its power. Whereas someone who lacks that, if they gain it, will not abuse its power and would instead respect it and use it for better good.
Exactly, bro.
And again, I know, right? I sound like a broken record. This very conversation between Erskine and Rogers, again, just better solidifies the character that shapes up Steve Rogers to be.
Exactly.
And like, dude, what this movie does, just explaining Steve Rogers, how he is as a person, how his motives are, how he thinks, what he believes in, like, does such a good job, bro. Like, this conversation is, again, another favorite moment of mine.
Absolutely.
That whole conversation. And I always think where it's like, always never lose that one important thing, and that is that you'll always be a good man. He points at his heart and he's like, that you are a good man, and shit like that. And you could tell that sticks with him, because we know in future movies to come what he learns from Erskine, what he tells him to do, like always be a good man, always believe in the better good, like comes into play in the decisions that he makes in the future movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So this scene was so good. Exactly, I love this scene.
I definitely like, and that's the main reason why he was chosen for the super soldier serum, because he saw that within that, despite his disabilities, despite him being short and weak, he was strong in his heart on some sentimental shit.
Yeah, that's cute.
Type shit, right? You feel me? But I like that, right? So now we're back in Europe, right? This is Schmidt. He's using his machines and he's trying to harness the energies of the Tesseract.
Yes.
To really kind of rule the world, man. He's just trying to do, because at first, what was it? He just wanted to rule like a certain like basically a certain big part of Europe. But then it changed to the part where, oh shit, we can harness his power now. Fuck the continent or whatever the fuck. Let's go after the world.
Yeah.
And to be fair, man, with an evil villain like that, I mean, it kind of makes sense that if you have such a great power that you would want to do that. So essentially, guys, this is what he's doing. He's figuring out how the Tesseract is working. He also has a what's his name? The scientist that's the one that's actually doing the experimenting and
the one that's helping him. So that
okay. What was his name again?
That dude is Arnim Zola.
Arnim Zola.
I always forget his first name. So
we'll just call him Zola.
Everyone calls in the MCU community, people refer to him as Zola, Zola. But that German scientist dude. So Zola is the one that's helping him, trying to build a machine that would harness the power of the Tesseract, right? So that's the guy that's working with him.
Yeah, and so after this, we later on in the movie, Schmidt ends up finding Erskine's location and basically sends a hit on him.
Yes, bro.
And
then after that, we then come back to New York, and that's where we're about to see the super soldier, Project Rebirth, I should say, go down now. So we see like all these like businessmen and scientists, they all gather around to this one lab, and then you see basically the chamber where they're going to put Steve Rogers in.
Some like Master Chief cryo pod
right? Dude, yes, dude. Yeah. So, he shows up and he's like, well, basically, you're just going to step into this chamber and we're going to shoot you with what they called Vita rays. Into your into your bloodstream or your DNA or something like that, and basically that's how the
just like a bunch of needles in like your muscles, like specific muscle groups and stuff. And I remember as a preparation, this was kind of funny. Is like I forgot who it was, but they inject them with something. I don't know what it was. Maybe to reduce the pain or something. Yeah. And like it's like a small needle, and he's like, "Oh, that's it." He's like, no, like, that's not it. I thought that was kind of funny. He's like, because he was like clenching his face. He gets hit with the needle. He's like, oh, that was it? That's not bad. He's like, no, that's not it. That's just the start. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, so everyone is on go. Fucking Agent Carter is looking. She's like in the viewing area room.
Yeah, up there. And then everything. Howard Stark is also here because he was the one that also helped manufacture this project as well. So he's there too. He meets Howard, and basically Howard is the one that we see like actually turn on the machine. You know what I mean? So basically everything now is set. So now it's time for the experiment. So Steve Rogers goes into the chamber, and the chamber closes, right? And then that's where we see Howard Stark turn on the chamber, and he pulls it up to like 30%, 40%. He gets higher, and then like you hear Steve Rogers. I think if I remember, he's like screaming,
he's
like
yelling.
yelling from pain or whatever the hell. And then that's what
Or like
Erskine
even the machines are like malfunctioning a bit.
exactly,
and stuff, yeah.
bro. And Erskine freaks out. He panics because he thinks what happened to this other guy who we find out, right? Did we mention that?
Did we find? No, that Johann Smith?
Yeah.
No, we did not mention it yet.
Okay. Well,
We can mention it. It's fine.
fuck it, right? So when earlier, right, when Erskine was having a conversation with Steve Rogers, he mentioned that they did Project Rebirth with somebody else, and it succeeded in a negative way. We found out that was Johann. So he thought what was going to happen to Steve Rogers right now is going to happen to was going to be like what happened with Johann. So he was like, "Stop the machine, shut it down." And you hear Steve go, "No, I can take it.
Yeah.
Like just keep going." And everyone looks at each other like,
All right.
"Fuck, all right then." And that's when he just turns it all the way up to 100. And when it hits 100, like all the machines like just like sparks fly and like everything goes crazy, and everyone thinks like, "Oh shit, like he just died."
Yeah, he just
some shit, right? Like get him out of there. And so they open the chamber, and Steve Rogers comes out, and now he's
buff as hell.
He's buff as fuck. Now he's got perfect physique. He's got the super soldier serum now.
He's taller.
So he's now taller. He's buff as hell. He's got perfect physique, and on top of that, stuff that we also cannot see, he's now has enhanced endurance, cardio, strength, all of that. And so now he has basically been formed what they would later call the perfect soldier. And that's where we see, Civil War, where he comes out and Peggy Carter's like all hot and bothered and shit.
She all hyped up.
Yeah, bro. And then she like even if you notice, did you notice that like there was a scene where like she even like reaches for his ass?
Yeah,
and shit?
for his pecs.
That's crazy,
hey,
bro.
Man, it's an evil world, bro.
I know, bro. She could reach for this though.
But actually, okay, here's the thing, right? He's now Captain America.
Yes.
And you guys already know what's coming, right? But before we do that, I forgot to mention that scene that I talked about where we actually kind of see the relationship. Because before, I completely forgot. Excuse me, guys. Do you remember when Steve Rogers was riding with Peggy in like a cab on their way to the facility? This is a scene where like you can tell that Steve Rogers is kind of dorky because he says, "Oh, I've never danced before. I've never been with a girl," and he says, "Well, I'm just waiting for the right one," or something like that. And that line alone, you see Peggy Carter's face like respecting that. Like at first, he was like, "Oh, he's like a dork," but after he said that line where he says, "Oh, well, I'm just waiting for the right one," and you could see her like smile and like respect that. And that was like the first moment, at least that I've noticed, where she kind of seems like kind of interested in. So that's the scene that I'm talking about. Now we're back to where we are right now. He's finally Captain America. He buff as hell, and now you see where she's like, oh, she's all like what you said, like hot and bothered,
and all this bullshit, man.
It's an evil world.
I know, bro. Reaching for his pecs, bro.
That's crazy.
She could reach for this.
Hey yo.
She
could reach this. No, but that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Dude.
And so, now that we know the project was a success, he's now a super soldier. All is happy, but not for long. Because we find out one of the businessmen that came to inspect this Project Rebirth was actually the assassin that Johann sent. And he draws a gun, and I believe... Okay, so this is where we might need to help me. Does he try to kill Erskine, or does he try to kill Captain America?
No, Erskine.
Okay, so did he shoot him, like, directly?
Actually, you know what?
I can't remember if he was trying to shoot Captain America. Erskine saw him and he pushes him away type shit.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Okay.
Can we see it in the notes?
Yeah, let me look at my notes real quick. Oh, no. One of the assassins reveals him to be the Schmidt assassin and shoots Erskine. So I guess he does shoot him.
Oh, I could have sworn like he kind of like gotten away or something.
Yeah, I thought it was one of those things where like he pushes Steve out of the way and he takes the bullet. I could have sworn it was like that. Or maybe I'm not remembering that correctly.
Yeah, one of the attendees reveals himself to be a Smith assassin. Yeah, who shoots Erskine, killing him. Yeah, and then Kruger, the assassin, grabs the last vial of the super soldier serum
and he
escapes.
runs off.
Yeah, but before we jump into that, right, we now know that Captain America, the experiment was a success.
He's now a super soldier.
Captain America, and I guess this is a perfect segue to get into the super synopsis of Captain America. So here you guys go. Here's a super synopsis on Captain America. Steve Rogers was born on July 4th, 1922. He was born to a poor Irish immigrant family. His father died when he was just a child, and his mother died of pneumonia in his late teen years. At a very young age, he was instilled with a strong sense of duty, honor, and humility due to his Irish Catholic upbringing. Rogers attempted to join the military after seeing newsreel footage of Nazis ransacking Europe, but was rejected due to his frail physical state. General Chester Phillips of the U.S. Army offered him a chance to participate in Operation Rebirth, a top-secret performance enhancing experiment. Rogers was taken to a Washington, D.C. laboratory to meet Dr. Abraham Erskine, creator of the super soldier serum. The experiment involved entering a metal chamber and being bombarded with Vita rays for the serum to enter the body. Rogers emerged with a perfect human body, but a Nazi spy killed Erskine, leaving Rogers as the only living proof of the serum's success. After being put through an intensive physical and tactical training program, Rogers was given a red, white, and blue costume along with a disc-shaped shield and became America's super soldier, Captain America.
All right, everyone. That was our super synopsis on Captain America. So hopefully you guys had a better insight in his comic book origins. So while we had our super synopsis segment going on, we actually did go back to the movie to rewatch the scene to get our facts right. So it turns out in the scene where the assassin reveals himself, he blows up that conference room that was overlooking the project. And we find out that the assassin does shoot Erskine straight on.
Yeah.
So
he blows it up. He blows the top viewing area up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Goes down, takes the vial.
Yes.
And as he takes the vial, just quickly like shoots Erskine.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much
because I thought I could have sworn.
I could have sworn too, man. But
that's like a Mandela effect.
Right.
I could have sworn he pointed the gun at Captain America, killing him, and then Erskine sees it, pushes him out the way, takes the bullet type shit, right? No. But no, that wasn't the case.
Yep.
So it was that he does shoot Erskine, and then he tries to run off. Peggy tries to shoot him, hits him in the shoulder, right? And then that's when Captain America comes up and sees Erskine dying, and before he dies,
this is another cool scene.
He doesn't have like last words, but he just does the thing where he points to his heart, basically telling him always remain a good man, like the scene they had the night before.
That's fire, man.
And so with that, the fucking the soldier, the assassin guy, gets away with the super soldier serum. And so Captain America's like, oh shit, like let me go after him. And so it's funny because in this scene, you know, he just transformed, so even he doesn't know the extent of his new power and physicality and stuff. So when he's hauling ass, he even like I don't know if you notice, there's scenes where he's looking down like
what the fuck, I'm doing
shit,
this.
what the fuck? And he just he just runs fucking hella fast and shit. And there's basically this whole chase sequence where he chases him in a car, and then he gets out the car, and it becomes this whole thing. Eventually, and then he like takes he like loses Steve Rogers for a bit, and he like cuts through this like neighborhood or like a road or something, I can't remember, and he finds his little boy, and he takes the boy with him as like a hostage. He points the gun at him and shit. And that's when Rogers finds him, and they chase him a little more, and they get to that by the river.
But they're by the river, and like the assassin, he throws the boy in the water, and so to like slow down,
to slow him down.
But then as Steve Rogers is like about to save him, the boy swim. He's like, just go get him. I can swim.
That's funny.
And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I can't relate. That's crazy.
That's facts, bro.
That's crazy.
A little boy upstaged you, bro.
Javi, you can't swim, bro. Come on. You can't swim, Javi. I don't believe you, girl. I gotta see you swimming 20 feet. 20 feet, and you go down there, and touch the floor,
the bottom,
touch the bottom, and then go up.
Yeah, bro, that's tough.
With an AR, you know how like military, how they train, how like they drop an AR down there, they have to like pick it up and take it up. You gotta do that. Then I'll believe you can swim, buddy.
Shit, bro, that's facts.
But so the assassin tries escaping in the submarine. That's where Rogers dives in and ends up catching the assassin. And but the vial of the super soldier serum is broken in the process.
Thank God.
Yeah, right. And the assassin, he immediately commits suicide, right? Because he ends up. What did he? He ends up.
He had a tooth. and that tooth was actually like a poison thing that he nicks off, and then before he takes a bite of it, he goes, Hell Hydra, and then like cracks the thing open, and then he just like he swallows the poison. And
dude, one thing I like too, man, is because obviously this takes place in the World War II times, and obviously it's in the Marvel comics and stuff. Right. One thing I like is the whole like Hail Hydra shit. Because I get it's Hail Hitler, I mean, right? Whatever. Mm-hmm. But here in this universe, they have like their own org or whatever, and it's Hail Hydra. I don't know why. I fuck with that, even though it's kind of fucked up. And like they do the thing where like they put both of their arms up instead of like one. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Hail Hydra, and they put their both arms up.
I get you. Yeah.
It's like a parody of like the actual bullshit.
A mirrored version.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
And I like the logo as well. Of Hydra.
Oh yeah, it's like because if you think about it, it looks like the Shield logo.
Oh, it kind of does, huh?
Yeah, think about it because it's the skull and tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one you're thinking about, right?
Yeah.
And Shield, it's the bird, and the tentacles are just straight lines that look like wings.
Or is it tentacles or snakes?
They're curvy.
I think it's snakes.
I can look it up
because their motto, if you cut off a snake's head, another one's there, like some bullshit. They have a motto.
That actually does sound right.
They have a motto like, if you can cut one of our heads, but we still have others, or some bullshit. Because it's like multiple snakes or something. Yeah, see if you can find the logo. I got
you. It's right here.
Yeah, it is. No. Oh, it's not snakes.
It's tentacles, bro. I told you.
Oh, it is. It's a skull and like tentacles. Anyways, the logo's fire. It looks cool.
Yeah, and
but yeah, they have a saying where like, you cut off one, we still have the others, or some bullshit.
Unless this is the comics. Let me just type MCU. No, it's the same one, bro.
Can you find that that motto that they be saying?
Let me see if I can. You want to leave that?
Yeah.
Further in the meantime.
Cause that's saying, cause I like that fucking that saying. But anyway, the assassin ends up killing himself with that tooth shit, right? So now with Erskine dead, the super soldier's formula is now lost, right? Because I guess that's the only serum that they have, right?
Yeah, bro.
So technically speaking, no one else can get it. No one else can replicate it because the only person that can replicate it is dead.
Yes,
and that's Erskine. So yeah, okay. So with that being said, right now the SSR is ordered to join the war and engage Hydra. However, the General Phillips, he decides to leave Rogers behind, and he ends up allowing scientists to study him and attempt to rediscover Erskine's formula. And then we get a shot where the Senator Brandt approaches Rogers and instead offers him a chance to basically tour the nation, bro, and promote war donations, so like propaganda essentially. And so
war bonds.
Yeah, war bonds. And the reason why is because during that chase sequence, right, people were captured photos or something of his heroic acts, and it got into the newspaper and shit. And so now the senator's like, hey man, you can help us out by becoming propaganda, by helping us out, getting war bonds, getting donations.
Well, at first he didn't know that. And he's just like, you could be a real big asset to the military.
Oh, yes.
And to him, he's like, oh, shit, girl, finally, right? Yeah. And then the next shot is him in a colorful costume, like an actual costume, and he comes out and he's promoting war bonds and that's when the audience, like us, right, we were watching the movie, you realize, they didn't make him into a soldier, they're making him into a propaganda piece promoting others to join the military.
Mascot type of deal.
That was the word. I low-key forgot the word. A mascot. It's basically what he is. He's basically the Tony the Tiger for Frosted Flakes, but for the military, right? Yeah. And here's my thing, right? I get what they're trying to do with the movie. It's one of those things where like they don't take him serious or whatever. Like, let's get more people into the military. It's a propaganda piece, right? In real life, though, fuck that. That would never happen, I feel like. Dude, if you actually had a super soldier who everything, like you literally saw this scrawny-ass person get big buff and has perfect physicality,
has powers,
all this shit, like super strength, cardio abilities.
They would not do that.
Realistically, you wouldn't make that person a propaganda piece. You would probably hire a buff normal person, but this dude who was genetically altered,
they put him in a
you'd
field.
fucking actually put him on the battlefield.
Well, at first, it's kind of realistic because the general, wants to keep him in the area, not deploy him, because they want to replicate Erskine's formula. So they want him to stay.
True.
They want him to stay so the scientists could do studies on him and try to replicate that shit.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, that is true. But you're kind of right in a sense where if after everything's said and done, after the formula is replicated, for sure, bro, they're gonna send him out there, man. Come on, dude. Now.
Yeah.
Instead of being a mascot, but that's the only. I think that is why for now, they have him in that area because he's still being tested on.
I got you. That makes more sense. Well, real quick before we continue, I found the quote.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So before I tell you the quote, actually, I don't know if you knew this, but Hydra actually means something.
Like it's abbreviation.
No. Like, so in Greek mythology,
Ooh.
Hydra is actually a multi-headed serpent.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. Apparently, it's like a serpent that like faces.
I thought it was like a dragon or something. Like a dragon-looking thing.
According to Google, I just read it said serpent, and apparently it has
multiple heads.
It has multiple heads, and it has a fight against Hercules.
Yeah,
okay, so right here, I found in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Hydra, it's a terrorist organization that has a pledge that includes the phrase "cut off one head, two more shall take its place."
Oh yeah.
That's the one.
I like that. That's kind of hard. Because I get what they're saying. And, Hydra, it also makes sense.
But yeah, that's basically... I found the quote.
Fucking... say less, bro. And, okay, so, I lost my place. So, yeah, he's basically touring...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the entire country.
Exactly. Being the mascot, creating, film strips, comic books, which is kind of funny because they show comic books of actual, the Captain America comics.
Yeah, that's the actual cover of the comic.
so it is really cool, and I like it. I really like this aspect of the whole propaganda situation because in real life, when Captain America was when it was created, it was actually for propaganda.
Exactly.
And I actually have like a fun fact diving deeper into that cool fun fact that I think I'll probably save it in the super facts section. Yeah,
I got you.
But that's basically the gist of it, and I actually do appreciate that they actually incorporated that how it was in real life to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. So he's basically touring, right?
Yeah.
He's like here doing scripted stage shows, and he's basically being pranced around as a sort of star-spangled mascot for the military, and they're just calling him Captain America because he represents America.
Exactly.
The costume, the red, white, and blue costume, and everything, right? Like everything just kind of resembles to their whole like propaganda shit. And basically, as they continue to tour, there's even that one scene where, like, in one of the shows, he meets this blonde girl. I don't know if you noticed that. You notice that blonde girl that just comes up and, like, she's all starstruck. Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
All right, bet. Moving on.
Am I missing something? Is there, like, an Easter egg or something?
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll let you know. Just keep that scene in mind. You know what I'm talking about, right?
The one where is it the one where like he ends up making out with her, like that girl?
No. That was later on.
Oh. The one where she like wants an autograph or something.
That one.
Okay. Yeah. I'm assuming she's important, but like why? I don't know. Is there like some type of? I'm assuming in the super facts.
Remember her?
Yes. Okay. Her.
Okay, so her,
the blonde girl.
This lady
that basically wants an autograph.
Yes.
From him.
Okay. Now keep that in mind. Okay. I'll mention it later.
Okay. Now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Where were we at?
Oh yeah. They're just. We get a whole like.
Montage.
Whole montage of him. Yeah. Doing his
shows
and stuff,
selling,
and obviously
comic books,
all that stuff. And
he's doing movies and shit.
Oh yeah,
on some Vicente Fernandez bullshit.
Oh yeah, he is, right. So he's doing all of this, but even though he is technically helping his country with
contributing to the war bonds and all this shit,
he's obviously not satisfied because he wants to be out there.
He wants to actually fight.
Be
in the battlefield.
Yeah. So while that's happening, right? Meanwhile, we
go back to Schmidt and Zola.
Oh yes. We're with Schmidt, and he basically unveils his new Tesseract powered weapon, right? And to the Nazi officers, and he's basically saying what he wants to essentially do, right? And actually, one of the officers, I think, or someone there notices like, what the fuck? You want to invade more no, we can't do that. And that's where we actually find out that he wants to expand and actually just take over the world. And he ends up using that machinery that was obviously created and helped by Zola. He ends up killing everybody.
Yeah.
He basically just kills everybody.
Slaughters.
Like, his own people. Because he was working... Because this is the part where I was kind of confused, and it kind of makes sense, is that Hydra was a operation, like a org operation that was partnered with Hitler and the Nazis.
Yes, it was.
But since he got
the power
and Tesseract, he said, fuck that.
We can now
Hydra,
more.
My shit, could take over Hitler and the Nazi, and we could just take over the world. Because
he felt as though his organization always lived in Hitler's shadow.
Exactly.
And he's like, with this power, we can now do more. And he basically now just starts going out and using that power and starts taking over the country and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So he ends up... Yeah, so I have in my notes, Schmidt uses the moment to declare his secession from the third... How do you say that?
Third Reich.
Third Reich. Isn't that from actual... That's from actual...
That's actual, like, real life.
Yeah,
the Third Reich is... Yeah.
Is the... What was that again? The Third Reich, was that... Can you look that up real quick?
What the fuck? Third Reich. Yeah, so the Third Reich, meaning Third Realm or Third Empire, referred to the Nazi claim that Nazi Germany was the successor of the early Holy Roman Empire and German Empire. The Third Reich, which the Nazis referred to as Thousand Year Reich, ended in May of 1945. Oh shit! After only 12 years, when the Allies defeated Germany and entered the capital of Berlin, ending World War II in Europe.
Okay, so yeah, I like that they actually use. This movie did use like some Hitler.
Because I know a lot of people throw the word like Nazi around. Nazi is what you call the actual soldiers.
Yes.
But the name of the organization is the Third Reich.
Okay.
That's what that is. So like basically, it's just it's the name.
Yeah.
It's the name of the actual organization, right? You have like the flag, right, the emblem, and all that. But that's the Third Reich. The Third Reich is basically the name of the organization.
Yeah.
So there's Hydra and Third Reich, basically.
And so
Johann Hitler. You see that?
And even though there were buds, man, even in the comics, man, there were buds. Hitler's the one that actually gave Red Skull like his mask and everything. So I kind of do like that, but it's kind of funny. He's like, man, fuck that. I could beat your ass now. I'm gonna just take over the world, man. Fuck it. So yeah, Hydra is now siphoning energy from the Tesseract, using the stored energy to create a variety of weapons, and basically putting them on vehicles and other technology, and essentially powering up his faction, man. Like just ready for war to take over, essentially. So now, where are we at, Hive? We are
in November of 1943.
Can you lead it off real quick?
Yeah,
I can't find it.
So we're over, and now after that scene, right, where he basically realizes that he gained all that power. After that scene, now we're in November of 1943, and while performing for active servicemen as well as encountering his colleagues from the SSR, Rogers learned that Barnes' unit was lost. So he finds out that his and his squadron got lost out there, and he then realizes that the general is not doing anything about it. And of course, this doesn't sit right with Rogers for two reasons. He's a good man, good soldier, and that's not the right thing to do, but also that's my brother, that's my best friend. He's out there and he's lost, and you guys are not going to do a damn thing about it. And so obviously that doesn't sit right with him. And General just tells him, like, shut up, you're just a costumed mascot, and you're going to do as I say. You go under my orders, and blah, blah, blah. And obviously Peggy Carter's there with him, and she doesn't agree with this as well. But unfortunately, he does have a point. He is the general, he's the commander, and we have to do what he says. He basically is our boss. But Rogers doesn't fuck with him, he just kind of storms off from the conversation.
Basically saying like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
You know what's so funny? Y'all just been saying that quote so much for the last few months.
Bro, listen. It just fits, bro, with everything. Like, even with this situation, motherfucker said, like, no, Steve Rogers, you can't go out there and find your friend Bucky, blah, 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 their squadron. And Captain America's basically saying, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. And he does. You know, it is funny, actually. So actually, some pods on HRV that we did, because we recorded Summer Game Fest, we did Helldivers 2, and X Defiant. I think in all three of them, we at least maybe said it once or something.
I believe it.
Or something.
I believe it.
Why? Did you hear it? Like, did we say it in
We
Knuckles? Did we say it in Furiosa or what?
Yes.
Do we?
Yeah, bro. On pods that I don't like, I'm not able to
in.
make it and record. I'll try to listen to them when you guys upload them,
Oh, okay.
and without fail.
Nah, I'm
Y'all
gonna do mine.
mention it. Y'all always mention it. That became the new.
What?
It's been a while.
Oh,
since
dude, I forgot. It's been a while since the world.
That became the new that
This
shit,
universe.
bro.
That's actually facts, and it's funny because that movie's it's been a year now, right?
Yes.
Has it been a year? Holy fuck, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's been a year since that Cross the Spider-Verse movie. But yeah, that's where we got it from.
Mm-hmm.
So it ends up, so obviously Bucky is in danger, and the reason why the general is basically saying, no, man, we can't go after them.
It's
because
he believes
that they're
basically dead.
Yeah, because they're like in deep enemy territory.
Yeah.
And that's
like, no
why
one can survive that. They're basically dead.
Essentially. And that is why Steve Rogers like, man, no, fuck that, man. I got to get out there and see if he's still alive. I got to see if...
What if they're captured?
Exactly.
What if there's a chance?
Exactly.
Like, there is no chance. And that's when he gets pissed and he's just
Storms
walks away
off.
from the conversation.
And that's where Peggy ends up following him and basically ends up helping him, right?
With the help of Howard Stark as well.
Yeah.
So they basically are like, you know what? I know what you're going to do is stupid, but I get why you're trying to do it, so at least let us help you out. And so basically that's what happens, right? So Howard Stark helps by actually flying Steve Rogers out on a plane to enemy territory.
Oh, yeah.
In the supposed place where the unit was either taken or at least around the area where they got lost. And so he literally just parachutes his way out of there, out of the plane. I believe, if I remember correctly, the plane was getting shot at.
Was it? Oh, I think was it getting shot at? Because they were flying in enemy territory, so there probably was some like anti-aircraft like machinery type shit. Because I do remember that. Oh, you have to jump now, and like they're kind of. I remember Howard Stark is flying the plane, like, oh shit, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So I think that happened, and that's when Captain America just jumps off
And he
on some
parachutes off.
badass moment here.
Yeah, exactly. So he finally gets to the compound, right, where they're supposedly being held or whatever, and he's trying to do, his sneak thing, and he's trying to sneak around with the guards and trying to get inside. He eventually makes it inside, and that's when he sees, like, the rockets and the ships, and, like, he's starting to see basically, like, what Hydra's basically trying to do.
I want to ask you this, ready?
Yeah,
because this is the part we get where he actually lands. He's busting in doors. He has a pistol. He's out here shooting and shit. And I was thinking, interesting. Do you like that Captain America kills?
Uses a gun?
And kills. Because he certainly does kill.
I have thought about this.
Or should it be like a Batman situation where
he's
just too good of a man? He don't kill.
He doesn't kill.
But the thing is, he's made for killing.
Right.
He was made as a super soldier to partake in a world war where unfortunately you're gonna have to kill. So I understand that aspect.
That is
but
true.
my thing is, would you prefer him not to kill?
Okay,
to be one of those heroes.
So I have an answer.
What do you think?
But my answer might be long. Is that okay?
Oh my god!
It's not that long. It's not that long. It's just my answer might not be what you expect.
Okay.
And I have evidence to back my claim. That's why it might be long.
Okay. Do you want to just finish up? Okay, because after this, in our notes, after this, we're gonna jump into super facts.
Okay.
Should we just finish this
section?
Uh-huh. Then we'll go back to this question, and then we
super
do
facts.
Then we go super facts.
Sure.
Do you want to do
That's
that?
fine.
Okay, cool. Because you never know, man. we might be here for another 30 minutes, y'all. I don't know, right? But anyways, that's what I thought of when I saw Captain America
shooting with pistols,
shooting with guns and stuff.
I got you.
I thought about that. I'm like, you know what? That is fucking badass. But does it really fit with his character?
I get you. I have an answer for that.
Okay, cool.
I have an answer.
So yeah, he ends up doing some stealth mission, doing some badass shit with his shield, shooting, ends up freeing the prisoners and moving through the facility. And now the factory is now set to self-destruct to cover Hydra's operations, and they eventually evacuate to another facility. And as the building begins to detonate, this is the part where Schmidt actually confronts Rogers on a high like catwalk thing, where he makes light of the similarities that essentially he has with Rogers, saying, "Hey man, I'm also super soldier, motherfucker." You
He
check
basically reveals, I was that other test subject. I
Yes,
was the one
he
where
reveals that.
Erskine put on the super soldier for that was negatively impacted, in which they're like, negative how?
Yeah.
And that's when he realizes, like, he basically reveals that his face is actually a mask.
Yeah, and he takes off the mask, and that's where we get the Red Skull.
Yeah, basically
essentially.
his, like, deformed face, the red face, like, skull-like disfigured face that he actually has.
Yeah.
Which, I'm going to be honest, bro, is a change. It's a change, because in the comics, it's a mask.
Yeah.
Is it? Right.
It's a
Yeah,
mask.
so, but here, it's like a deformity of a super soldier serum experiment, but gone wrong in his situation. Do you prefer it like this, where it's where it's actually like real, or would you have preferred a mask?
That's a good question, bro. Because I'm trying to think. Because I know for a fact it was a mask, but sometimes, bro, in the comic book world, sometimes they change shit.
I get.
Sometimes they change shit in a sense where maybe it changed to where it wasn't a mask anymore.
If it was a mask, okay. Now let me ask you this, right?
I could maybe look it up, bro.
If Red
I could
Skull-
see, because that I don't know. That's like another detail I'm not sure.
I got you. I was gonna ask you, with Red Skull, his Red Skull in the comics being a mask, is it a mask where, like, his face doesn't move, obviously, because it's a mask? Or is it like a Green Goblin situation in the comics, where that's a mask, but, like, his mouth and eyes and cheeks and facial features move, like, as if it's his real skin? See what I mean? In the comics, so does his face stay the same, like, is it the mask, like Spider-Man type shit? Or does, because it's got, like, a mouth and eye holes, does his eyebrows and, like, mouth move and stuff the way that, like, Green Goblins does?
Yeah.
Or is it supposed to be like Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, Green Goblin, where the mask doesn't move?
Yeah.
It's just a mask.
I get you. I'm.
Do you know about that?
I don't, bro. I think it is like that. Where no, in the comics, yes, where he has a mask on and it looks like he's talking like normally, but it's really a mask. So I'm looking it up right here.
Okay.
So like kind of like Green Goblin in the comics.
Okay.
So it is like that. But so I looked it up right here. So apparently, right, Hitler was the one that gave Schmidt the unique uniform with a Red Skull mask, but that Schmidt suffers a horrific disfigurement decades later that causes his face to match his namesake.
Yeah, you're right.
So I guess
there's comic book panels of his mouth moving and stuff.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah.
And also, I don't know if you knew this, but Google's now been using AI to get
really?
your answers. So AI, Google has told me that
Moves.
yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, bro, you didn't see this?
No, I don't have that right here. Look, I don't know why.
Yeah, bro. Apparently, Google's been
That's
using
actually
AI now. So what they do is, like,
That is kinda cool.
of all the search results that it gets, it goes through them, and AI chooses like a more simplified answer that I get. AI is the one that helped me give me the quote for Hydra. It told me that Hydra is actually a multi-headed serpent from Greek mythology. Then I got into a fight with Hercules. Like, this new AI overview feature on Google has come in clutch the last few days. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. So Google's AI told me that the mask does move in the comics, but I guess I get it, right? In the movie, it makes more sense. If you really want that same effect, you would probably just have his face be a red skull-like face and not a mask.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that would make more sense. But okay, I was just wondering if it was like that.
So yeah, on some real shit, I guess his face is oh, here it is. I have a comic panel. I guess his face is kind of disfigured.
Oh, and he wears a mask to hide it.
I guess so, yeah.
Gotcha. But here they kind of made the disfigurement be a red skull.
An actual, yeah.
Now, do you like that, or do you prefer it would have been a mask?
Interesting. Honestly, I don't really mind.
Either way?
I don't think I don't mind either way.
Okay.
To be honest, because if we're going to be honest, in the comics, right, he's wearing a mask. Cool, he has a mask all the time. But it's going to seem like it's flawless, like how the Green Goblin, just when he talks and stuff, it's going to look like him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas in the actual movie, right, it's actually his fucking face. So I don't know, it just doesn't really bother me. I kind of like, you know what, now that I think about it, I kind of think this is cooler.
Gotcha.
The fact that on some Deadpool shit where his face got disfigured for whatever reason.
Yes.
And he puts on a mask and now he's one with the mask.
Gotcha.
And it has that sense of, like, I don't know, kind of what's behind the mask. They reveal it or some shit. He looks ugly as fuck.
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And to be fair, in the movie, the way how Red Skull is in the movie, it does look pretty accurate. Like it does look accurate to the comic books.
Yes.
It doesn't look super like amazing. Like whoa, like it looks so great. But you could definitely tell that it looks solid, and I respect it.
Gotcha.
I definitely respect it, man. How it looks true to the comics. Could it be? But that's interesting that they did change that, huh? I don't. Yeah,
it's almost like they took the two aspects and made them into one. Because he has a disfigured face, but he puts on a Red Skull mask.
That's actually kind of cool too, though.
And what in the movie they did that his Red Skull face is the disfigured face,
and he has a human mask
to cover it up instead.
That's kind of cool too, though.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man, that's
cool
basically how it goes down. So he basically reveals that he was the failed test subject, that he was the one that won the super soldier serum gone wrong test subject. His face is now a disfigured Red Skull. And speaking of Red Skull, this is a perfect segue for us to go into Red Skull's super synopsis. So, Red Skull super synopsis coming your guys' way.
Here's a super synopsis on Red Skull. Johann Schmidt, born in Germany, was a son to a drunken father and a mother who suffered abuse and beatings. His mother died from giving birth to him. Schmidt's father tried to drown him, accusing him of killing his wife. A doctor at the hospital saved baby Schmidt from his father, who the following day committed suicide. Schmidt was sent to an orphanage where he lived in solitude until he ran away at the age of 7 and lived on the streets as a beggar and a thief. Schmidt sought a master to teach him how to achieve greater power, and one day decided Adolf Hitler to be him after seeing him berate a chief for letting a spy get away. Hitler took Schmidt under his wing, personally overseeing all of his training and giving him a Red Skull-like mask, giving him the alias Red Skull. Red Skull undertook many missions for Hitler, but the Skull was never content with just being his subordinate. He kidnapped and killed many of Hitler's closest advisors and over time became the second most powerful man in the Third Reich. Hitler realized he could not control Red Skull anymore and began to fear him. Around this time, the United States created Captain America. The two would have numerous conflicts throughout the years, with the Skull declaring Captain America as his principal and perennial nemesis.
All right, everyone, that was the super synopsis for Red Skull. Hope you guys learned something about his comic book biography. So back to the film, right? So when we see the confrontation between Red Skull and Captain America, he's got Bucky with him. Red Skull's got Zola, and they're able to make their escape. We see them get into their jet, and they basically fly out of the base.
Well, only Red Skull. Because Zola's like, where the fuck I'm going? Because it's a one-seater.
It's a one-seater.
And, like, Red Skull's a bitch, man. He's like, he hands him his keys, like, not a single scratch, Zola. And he takes, I guess, a car that was...
Nice-ass car.
A nice-ass car that was Red Skull, and that's how he gets away.
Now, here's my thing. Are you getting mad?
What? If he gets a scratch on it?
No. Are you getting mad? Like, if that were you...
If I was Zola?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'd be like, what the fuck? You're a bitch. Like, I'm the one that did the research. I'm the one that fucking managed to siphon the energy out of this cosmic cube and create weapons, and you're out here treating me like I'm like bullshit. Like, I can't get a seater in that bitch. What the fuck? But then again, it is a nice car. I'd crash it on purpose, man. Well, after I escape.
After you escape?
Yeah, I'm gonna crash that bitch.
But this motherfucker could just evaporate you with his weapons. Remember, he has weapons powered by the Tesseract that he's giving to his henchmen.
Yeah, you're right, man. That is facts. But then I could just say, oh, well, bro, the facility fucking blew up, man. What do you expect?
What do you want? But I told you not to. It was your responsibility.
No, that's crazy. That's some like next level villain shit.
Well, this dude worked with Hitler. What do you expect?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Never mind. I probably will not do that then.
But we cut back to Bucky and Cap, and they're trying to escape as well, correct? Because he was able to get the rest of the soldiers to escape.
Yeah.
But only Captain America and Bucky remained in the compound. And by now, like we said, since they rigged the place to self-destruct, it's already blowing up. It's on fire and all this shit. And so... as they're trying to escape, we see Bucky like walk across like this one beam, trying to get to the other side of the compound, and then it eventually collapses, and Bucky just barely holds on into the onto the rail, and he gets himself across. But there's no beam for Captain America, so now he has to like hope that it works. He backs all the way to the back, and then he does this little run, and then he tries to jump this big ass gap, and we see a big explosion happen. And now it's implied that they were killed in action, right?
Exactly.
We don't know if they made it out. Then we cut to the very next morning, right? And we see the commander basically telling the dude in the typewriter, like, to write the will of, like, you know, so-and-so soldiers were killed in action. They were KIA, blah, blah, blah. And Peggy Carter comes in and he's like, you're in a lot of trouble, basically. You know, Howard Stark, he's the #1 military manufacturer. We can't do disciplinary action. You, on the other hand, you disobeyed my orders. And she's like, well, I don't regret my actions. And quite frankly, I don't think, you know, Rogers did either. And he's like, I don't give a fuck about your opinion, this and that. And then we see all the soldiers are like, guys, look. And everyone's running. And what the fuck's going on? And that's when we see Captain America pulling up with the captured soldiers to the base. Mm-hmm. And you basically see that they were able to make it out. And
yeah.
And it's cool, right? Because, like, oh, shit, like, he saved the soldiers, and they're all marching back to the compound. He brought everybody back safe. But now here's my thing, right? Mm-hmm. Realistically, at least some people died.
Well, yeah, that's true.
There's like
that's
like one of those, like, in a perfect world, like, he saved everyone, captured. But, like, realistically, some people died, man. Not everyone made it back.
That's true. That's true.
So, like, to me, I just thought it was funny because, like, because it's
funny.
a big-ass march of people.
Yeah.
And then behind them is a big ass car filled with more people and other people who are like who are like hanging on the side of the car, they're sitting on the top.
Yeah.
And shit, and it's like,
come on, man.
He saved all, dude.
For real. I guess that's true. That's true.
I guess that's why he's Captain America.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
saving
bro.
Everybody.
He's like light work.
But yeah, you're right.
And then he marches back. He goes up to the commander. He's like, hey, man, you know, he salutes him and he's like, I'm turning myself in for disciplinary action, you know, because I disobeyed you. And he sees, you know, well, I mean, you saved all my men, so he's like, that won't be necessary, type shit. Mm-hmm. And so he basically lets them off the hook, and then everyone, you know, starts cheering, right? Bucky's like, let's give it up for Captain America, and everyone basically cheers.
Yep.
And after this, we realize that now that he has gained the respect and the acknowledgement of the military and the commanders, and now they actually see that he, because he's a super soldier, is worth something on the field, and so they want to put him out there. Mm-hmm. But before we get to that, I want to circle back to the question that you asked me about how I felt about Captain America with a pistol. So just to circle back, what did you think about that? You said, how did you feel about him rocking guns and shit?
Well, like I said, man, I was questioning it because I'm not sure if it really fits his character as a good man, because technically he is killing, right? Even when he throws the shield and it hits someone, that motherfucker dead, bro. Come on. It's a fucking vibranium. This bro chucking the shield like
hard as shit.
Yeah, Brody's dead, man, right? So he's killing, right? And to me, I'm just questioning it because, like, okay, well, sure, he has a big heart and sure, like, he's a good man, but if he's such a great good man, would he kill? Mm-hmm. You know, but then again, it goes back to what I said, is he was created as a super soldier. He was created to kill, man. Because at this time, it's World War II, man. Nazis are, you know, going crazy. Fucking Hitler's going crazy. Obviously, he was made to kill. So I understand that aspect. And even in the comics, I believe he does, you know. And even like even in the movie, I mean, bro, he's shooting motherfuckers with pistols, right?
Yes.
So I understand that aspect, but then I just kind of relate it back to like the Batman thing, where Batman is a good person as well, and even despite him hating Joker, bro, so much, he does not kill him.
Right.
And my thing is, does that really fit with Steve Rogers? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I understand why that is, why he does kill. But I don't know. Personally, would I prefer if he didn't kill or not? In a perfect world, yes. But then again, it just wouldn't make sense because he is Captain America and he is part of the military and he's a soldier that kills, for better or for worse, right? But yeah, that's just what I think, man. I don't know. What do you, did it bother you? What do you think? Like,
okay, so here's my answer, right? I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. It did not. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think him shooting with a gun did fit his character. Mm-hmm. I think, in my opinion.
It fits his character in a sense of him being a soldier. But I'm saying his character as like
a person, like
as a person, like with morals of him being a good man. I can't take a person's life even though they're evil. Mm-hmm. I'd rather put them away, like Batman.
I get you.
So that's what I mean.
Right.
His character.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's like the same way, because the way that I see it is, I think he would only go as far as to take a person's life if that person is irredeemable. If it's one of those like a point of no return. In which case you're fighting Nazis, you're fighting Hydra soldiers, you're fighting the Red Skull. Like, you're now going up against people who are irredeemable, who are just evil in the purest form.
Okay, that's true. Here's the thing. That's true, and that's how we see it, right? We see it that way. Like, I'm sure, bro, you and I wouldn't have an issue if they executed a murderer. Like, the government executed. We wouldn't have an issue.
Right.
But the reason why Superman and Batman are held to like a higher standard than us, and the reason why we like them so much is even because of that, they still would not kill them because they think, hey, it's still a human being and stuff. Maybe there could be some redemption, or maybe we could help them in a certain way. Because here's the thing, man, Joker's fucking evil, man. Joker's hella evil, and Batman doesn't kill him, even though he had many chances to kill him.
That's true.
Same thing with Superman, not even killing who would be like a
good example.
A good example.
Maybe Darkseid.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, right. He basically puts him away and put a stops to him, but doesn't immediately kill him. Even though, bro, they're worse, right, than a general murderer here on Earth.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're so looked up to is because they are like essentially perfect in a sense where they won't let their emotions get to like their rationale, if kind of in that aspect of killing somebody. Because for us, obviously, if we witnessed a murder or something, we would feel some type of emotion. We'll be so angry, and we wouldn't care if like they got murdered, or hell, if it was someone we knew or cared for, we wouldn't mind fucking killing them. Right. For example, Punisher, right?
Yeah.
But because Batman and Superman are so good, they're so pure-hearted and they're so perfect that despite that, they take away their emotions out of it.
Yeah.
And they acknowledge this is still wrong. Murder, killing someone is still killing someone, whether they did something bad or not.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying is Captain America, the way I see Captain America is I see him as like that perfect soldier. I mean, they reference him as perfect soldier. Right. And I kind of take it away as he's also a perfect like being, especially with like, he's great, bro. He's fucking great how he is. I kind of see him as like Batman and Superman in a way.
Yeah, in purity,
in purity. And so my thing is like, it is kind of strange seeing him kill, despite him having that purity.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess for me, I just see it differently. I just see it as like, he doesn't kill. He does what we think, right? But if the person is at a point of like unredeemable, then there is no choice but to kill. That's why when he's going up against like the Nazis and stuff, like, and Hydra and all that, like, it only makes sense for him to use pistols. Another thing that supports that is like, fast forward, right, when he fights Ultron. Like, Ultron, he believes we should destroy, right? And, and I know a lot of people make the argument like Ultron doesn't make no fucking sense. He's a fucking robot. He's not a person. Okay. And it's like, what about Loki, right? Avengers 1. Captain America doesn't kill Loki. Well, that's because technically Thor was looking for Loki, and Thor wants Loki to answer for his crimes in Asgard, so he couldn't really take his life. Otherwise, would Captain America have killed Loki?
He probably would have.
See that? And now another thing, too, if I'm really skipping ahead, Captain America wielding Mjolnir. So when Endgame happened, we obviously get the scene where he wields Mjolnir.
That's a good, like, conversation there.
Yeah.
Because would you argue, like, if you're killing somebody,
yes,
are you worthy enough to
of wielding Mjolnir?
Yeah.
Actually, yes. I had to Google this because I Googled. Cause
what the fuck? You Googled this?
I Googled this
oh, shit.
Back when Endgame came out in theaters. Because I knew in the comics that there were scenes like, I guess, what other comic book issues where Captain America has wielded Mjolnir before?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I could have sworn I heard it. And then when I saw it in Endgame, obviously, it was hype, right, in the movie theater. And I was like, interesting. So, like, it's one of those things where, like, I even pondered the same question. I was like, I'm like, oh no, here's what happened. He wields Mjolnir in Endgame fighting Thanos. And I was like, okay, cool, he can just hold the hammer, but he also calls lightning. And uses Mjolnir to call lightning on Thanos, and he uses that to his advantage. And I'm just like, the fuck? So Captain America not only can wield Mjolnir, but also has the powers of Thor, because he can call lightning and all this shit with it. And so that was what I Googled, is that can Captain America wield the powers of Thor? I know he can wield Mjolnir. He's worthy, right? But powers, motherfucker? You're calling lightning from the sky?
Yeah.
And it turns out that in the MCU, right, the logic is anyone is worthy of both wielding the hammer and power and holding the powers of Thor.
Mm-hmm.
You could wield the hammer and have Thor powers if you are like a good being, like if you're worthy, if you are good at heart, and if you are willing to kill if the consequences are right. So it's like Captain America would lose his powers if he just wanted to just kill an innocent being, obviously.
Yeah.
Or if he wanted to just kill a robber. But like if it's one of those things where it's like I have to kill you because there's no other way in defeat, like Thanos, who threatened to wipe out half the universe, and
that makes sense.
And then in Endgame, when it's like obviously that my past, like my other alternate version of me, that didn't work, so I'm gonna wipe out this whole planet instead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where it's like I have no choice but to kill you because there is no stopping you.
There's no
That's
other
how
choice.
he wields the Thor powers. I had to look this up and I did research, and that's how that works.
Yeah.
So I guess because I thought of those future situations, right, that we have yet to review or see, and I'm tying that to seeing him with pistols, it just makes sense and it's sort of consistent in his character.
Yeah.
That's how I took it as. So he's always had the mentality of I would kill and take a life if that person's at a point of irredeemability. Like if he's unredeemable, then I have to kill him. That's why that ties in more with the Thanos situation. That's why he was able to wield the powers of Thor and the hammer.
Yep.
According to MCU lore in the comics, anyone can wield the hammer and Thor powers as long as that person is worthy, you know, good heart, good man, everything like Thor is, right? What Thor learned to be in the first movie, but also if that person is willing to kill and take a life, if it like meant for the greater good, like if there
benefits,
if it was like no other choice
yeah.
and that was the only way you could do it. And that's why a lot of people have argued like why Spider-Man probably wouldn't be able to, because he has a rule. The same Batman rule, right? Where he just doesn't kill, he doesn't take a life. And a lot of people make the argument like, well, would Batman do it? Could Batman, you know, but are they good of heart? And it's one of those things where like, well, because of their rule, if they can't kill, despite how evil, and you brought up a good point, Batman not being able to kill the Joker, despite how irredeemable and evil that motherfucker is, he probably couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that him using pistols does fit his character, and if you notice, if you have that mentality set with Captain America, and you see just how he moves in certain decisions and fighting, and like how he in the ways that he does in future Avengers movies, Captain America movies, and whatever, it's very consistent. So me seeing him rock pistols in the battlefield didn't actually bother me. For those reasons. So that was basically the explanation that I wanted to give you.
No, I get you. It definitely does make sense, like what you said, where maybe you don't have a choice, right? But, you know, I think it's one of those things, man. It's kind of like a slippery slope. Because, sure, you could argue, well, what you said, it's okay if you kill somebody if their past, they're past redemption, man. They can't redeem themselves. But then you see Batman, not killing the Joker. You even see Superman not even doing it,
Well, then again, for Batman, it's deeper, though. Because obviously murder and evil is what took his parents at a young age.
That's true.
And that sort of trauma always stuck with him for so long. And that's why he can't bring himself to stoop that low. Yeah. Captain America, I wouldn't say had that kind of trauma or nothing like that. And so he also realizes that in war, in a battlefield, in a literal war where there's killing involved, you have to kill in order to survive, but not just kill anybody you want. You could just like spread bullets, friendly fire. You have to kill the enemies. Like, I don't like bullies. I can't forgive letting the bad guys win, letting that slide. So I have to go and fight for my country and fight for the greater good. If that means killing you for the sake of peace, for the sake of winning, for the sake of the good guys. Because, even in that scene where he's about to take that drink with Erskine, right, to the little guy. It's like his whole thing is just for the greater good, always looking out for the little guy type shit. And so for him, it makes more sense because he's more of like the logical aspect of it.
No, that's fair. Ready? So why is it that the Punisher is shamed for his views when he's essentially doing the same thing?
That's true because
he's killing bad people, but yet Daredevil has an issue with that. Fucking the police force has an issue with that. He's a vigilante. It's a problem. He will still get prosecuted. as for murdering those people, even though they were bad people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's one of those
You know what I
things
mean?
where it's like, it's one of those things where, like, obviously in superhero movies and comic books,
yeah.
they see anyone as a vigilante. Fucking
Oh, that's true,
Daredevil's
yeah.
a vigilante. The same way that you see Daredevil as a vigilante, like, they don't like Daredevil, Spider-Man, all of them, as much as they do the Punisher. But Punisher's seen as worse because they actually murder. It's one of those things where, like, how dare you? It's like, how dare you murder this dangerous black man when he's supposed to go through the legal system? Oh, but a police officer can shoot him and no repercussions, right? Type shit. And it's like, what the fuck? So it's one of those things where it's like, we're not supposed to kill the bad guys. We're supposed to put him through the legal system and go to jail, blah blah blah. And Punisher is like playing chess, not checkers.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna step ahead of you. Why have him go to prison? They're just gonna come back out and do the exact same shit. Or just put him down.
Put an end to it.
I'm rather put him down forever, type shit. And so, if you think about it, in the comics and the movies, like, they're gonna look at anyone as a vigilante.
That's true.
They see. I'm not saying now, right? But like maybe when they're their early years, they probably saw Daredevil as a vigilante, Spider-Man, Batman, all these characters. Like they probably saw them the same way.
And there probably is like some severity level to it where Punisher is killing, let's say, I don't know, drug smugglers, right? While Captain America is actually killing people that are trying to take over the world.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think that's what that is as well. Is like maybe there's severity levels to it, but it is interesting, man. It is one of those interesting topics that you could talk about with your friends. I mean, you have and I, right? Like we're just talking about it because it is kind of it's kind of a slippery slope, man.
Yeah,
Like if you really think about it, because are you a really good man if you are killing? You know, even if it's for the greater good, because we have so many heroes that don't kill even though like they're protecting the world.
Yes, that's true.
You know what I mean, bro? So it's definitely interesting, man. Definitely interesting topic. But listen, with that out of the way, that was a cool conversation, man.
Yeah,
I like having that conversation.
And listen, if any of you guys have your own thoughts, or if you guys have any
for
counter
sure.
arguments or whatever, leave a comment down below.
Absolutely.
Or shoot us up on the Cape Shit podcast Instagram and the DMs or whatever. If you guys have your own thoughts or your own
analysis,
arguments, or what you guys think about what we said, let us know down in the comments. Shoot us a message, whatever. We want to hear what you guys think.
Hell yeah.
I'm actually curious to see what people may think about
hell yeah,
this.
because it's definitely a controversial like topic.
It's one of those things where it's like, well, technically, like,
if
you look at it from this perspective,
exactly,
like, it's very much a conversation.
It's definitely complex. But with that being said, guys, we're at the more than halfway mark. So I think this is the perfect time to get into super facts, right, Huff?
Yeah, man.
So yeah, and let's get into super facts.
All right, everyone, welcome to our segment. So this is Super Facts. So Super Facts, for those of you who are new to the podcast, is a segment that we do on Cape Shit, where we basically break down the fun facts and Easter eggs of the film that we are reviewing. In this case, we're going to be doing Super Facts on Captain America, the First Avenger. This segment is usually led by me, and I'm the one that's going to be guiding you guys through any fun facts or Easter eggs that we found in this film. We usually go through the fun facts first, and then we end it off with Easter eggs, and we kind of just go from there.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, do you want me to start it off, or?
Yeah.
All right, for sure. So, starting off with the Super Facts segment here on Captain America, the First Avenger, we're going to start off with the fun facts on here. So, the first fun fact that I have for Captain America, the First Avenger: filming the skinny, malnourished Steve Rogers scenes had to be filmed 4 times for each scene.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why?
It's because there's a lot of VFX shit going on.
Oh, that's right. So the buff, that's how he actually looks, the buff version.
Yes.
But then they just CGI'd his body.
Yes.
Right, okay.
So think about that. So like the entire first part of the movie where he's still skinny and malnourished.
Yeah.
Every scene that Chris Evans had to film, the movie, like the filmmakers had to film those scenes, that same shot, that same scene, whatever, 4 different times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the first time they film it is just Chris Evans filming in front of the camera normally. Nothing, just completely normal. The second is him being filmed in front of a green screen.
Okay.
The third one is a body double mimicking Chris Evans' actions.
Okay.
And the third is without the character of Steve Rogers on screen at all.
What the fuck? That's so confusing.
When they take those 4 different shots, they
Yeah.
can just splice each other, like his head on the person's body, and like the mimicking of the movements to make sure that the head doesn't, like, if the head's not like this but the arms moving this way, they want to make sure everything lines up. The green screen so that it doesn't look off.
Yeah.
The like whole like the perspective of, like, you know, his head being taller than it usually is. So like by using VFX shit, they were able to like make it work like that. But yeah, each scene had to be filmed 4 separate times for each scene that he's in.
That's actually, wow. That must be tedious as fuck.
It's
bro.
probably, it's very fucking.
Fuck that, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's actually interesting, man. I had no idea.
Yep. All right. Second fun fact I have on here.
Yep.
Chris Evans' body double, the one that plays his skinny, malnourished version of him,
Okay.
the guy that plays like his body double, he actually makes a cameo in the movie as a bartender.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it? Did we see him? Yeah, we saw him, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, you see him. So he's in the movie. So right after Captain America saves the soldiers and they all go back to the base, like they march back.
Okay.
There's a scene where Captain America is trying to recruit people for his Howling Commandos, like his team, his squadron. And when they're at that, remember they're at that bar.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he goes up to a bartender, and that bartender is the stunt double. That's the cameo that he is. But yeah, so the so the bartender is makes a cameo in this movie.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Next fun fact I have on here: Captain America: The First Avenger is actually the 5th Captain America live action project.
The 5th live action?
The 5th one.
What?
Yeah. There was a 1944 television show.
Okay, that was live action?
That was live action.
What the fuck?
Yeah, bro. There were 2 films that came out in the 1970s.
There was movies too?
Yes.
Oh wow, I thought this was like the first.
No, bro. No. And here's the funny part.
What the fuck?
I can pull it up in a bit.
Okay.
And there was also a 1990 film.
1990 film.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck, bro? So that's okay. So that's there's a TV show or TV series, right?
And 2 movies.
And 2 movies
from the 1970s, and then a movie from the 1990s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, bro.
Were they good or not, or what?
I've never seen them, but yeah, this is the 1979 movie. This is his costume and shield.
Oh no.
Yeah, bro.
Oh no. Look at his motorcycle. No, that's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, man. It did not
Captain America
look that good.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, dude. Let me see if I can find the 1991. Okay. Better looking costume. More comic book accurate.
Yeah, you see. Okay, this guy actually has his wings coming out. You see that
on his mask? Yes.
Obviously, I don't. The mask itself, I like it better with the MCU mask. Mm-hmm. But pair that with the wings sticking out, fire, bro. In my opinion.
I know you.
Because I kind of don't like that the helmet just has the wings on the actual helmet or whatever. I kind of want the wings just like the comic books to be sticking out like that. That would be fucking cool.
Like this.
Yeah, bro.
I got you.
With a cooler helmet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would look fucking cool.
But yeah, man, better. That's the 1990 movie.
Shit. Okay.
So
sweet, man.
I mean, at least the costume looks better. The other one was just.
That's true. No, the other costume was just
looked like some motorcycle daredevil stuntman looking.
Yeah,
shit.
bro. He literally has a fucking biker helmet on.
Yeah, that's
with just an A on it and wings like glued on or something. And his was that paint?
No, that's a mask.
Oh, okay. I thought it was paint. I thought it was like paint, bro.
Yeah, dude. So this is 1979. I guess this is an earlier one.
Yeah, no, that suit's actually trash.
Yeah,
bro. The other one was actually a bit better. And I wish they kept the fucking wings, man. That would have been sick.
Sticking out the helmet.
I think it would have looked cool as fuck here.
Yeah?
I'm not even kidding. Yeah, dude. I think it would. Bro. Pair that up with the mask that they have now with and then the wings. I think it'll create some type of like volume and it'll look cool because if you really look at it, it's just like a helmet, like a round egg helmet type of deal. And I don't know, it just kind of looks off to me a little bit.
I got you.
I kind of wish they did the thing.
I got you.
Kind of like, for example, like Wolverine. You know how Wolverine has this thing coming out?
Sticking out.
Yeah, and it creates like some type of it creates like some type of volume or texture every time you see him from the side.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it. I think it would look just as good like how Wolverine would look. I don't know how to explain it, man.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but that's that.
But yeah, man. So Captain America: The First Avenger movie is the 5th live-action project.
That's crazy, man. I look. You want to check out the other ones just to see what the fuck.
See, like we can probably look up clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. Next fun fact I have on here: Chris Evans and Sebastian Stan. Sebastian Stan is the actor who plays Bucky.
Okay.
They are actually the same height, but the filmmakers use camera tricks to make Steve Rogers appear taller than him.
Oh wow. What the fuck?
Yeah, but they're actually the same size.
I wonder what kind of tricks, man.
I don't know, man. Chopping off legs.
Chopping off legs?
Chopping
You said chopping off their legs?
It's funny because they're like, you use camera tricks. Like, what? You just have Chris Evans step on a stool or something. Like on a step.
Oh, dude, I'm thinking like actually chopping off
Oh,
legs,
no, I did.
bro.
I meant that.
I
meant that. Yeah, like actually chop off their legs.
No,
But
okay.
but the point that I'm bringing up is like, well, they used camera tricks, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what camera tricks? Why
Yeah,
not
probably like a
just
stool.
why not just have him step on like a little thing?
That's true.
Unless
he has to walk. Remember because he walks besides Bucky, like he walks with him and shit.
That's true. Then how would they have pulled that off?
That's what I'm saying. That's why that's a camera trick.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like, how the
because if he had a stool, it only worked for shots where like they're just talking to each other, they're not moving.
Yeah,
but if they're walking next to each other and side by side or whatever, then
right,
yeah, they would have to have some type of camera tricks to create the illusion that he is taller.
That makes more sense. If they were walking, then yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, but yeah, they had to make camera shots because
how tall are they?
I don't know actually.
They're probably tall as hell, bro.
I mean, they're probably 6 foot. I'm not. I won't be.
They're probably fucking 6'2", bro.
Is that your guess?
That's my guess.
Okay, so Chris Evans is 6 foot.
Oh fuck. Okay, you're right.
And Sebastian Stan.
He's also 6 foot, huh?
Yes, he's 6 foot.
Wait, how?
Well, what if it? I know.
You said that they're the same height.
I
So
know.
why look up his height?
What if it was like an inch or two off?
Then that wouldn't be the same height, girl.
But it would be similar enough to where it's like, but
I guess so, yeah.
you know, we still need to make him look slightly taller than that.
That's fair,
you know what I mean? So I wanted to just see if maybe it was an inch off or whatever. And it's
Dang,
like, no,
bro.
that's not enough.
He's a 6 foot demon.
Yeah,
Damn.
bro.
But
all right.
Is he 6 foot butt naked? Because you know you get listen. Listen.
Yo, pause.
Listen, because you get taller when you put on shoes or boots.
Right.
So my thing is, are you 6 foot with the boots on, or are you 6 foot? Are you 6 foot butt naked? Like
I think
no clothes, no socks, no shoes.
I think without shoes. I'm assuming.
Interesting. All right, that's tall. Then.
At least that's how I take it.
Then if he has boots on, he technically 6'2", 6'3" type shit.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's one thing you got to think about, man.
That's true.
But anyway.
Next fun fact I have on here on some Thor shit.
Okay. What?
On some Thor shit, girl.
Okay.
Sebastian Stan auditioned for the role of Steve Rogers.
No, Bucky, really?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, that is on some Thor shit, dude. That's actually. Can you see him playing as fucking?
Okay, so it's one of those.
I don't know, man.
It's one of those things, bro, where Tom Hiddleston, he auditioned for Thor.
Yeah.
I don't know because of all these years, I'm just used to seeing him as Bucky.
That's true.
I don't know if he would. Now, granted, he's the same height.
Yeah.
He's got he's a good actor. So I would just have to see a Sebastian Stan acting role where he plays a man of a good man with a good heart. Mm-hmm. I could be like, oh man, he would have been a good Captain America. But like, I haven't seen many Sebastian Stan movies other than when he played Winter Soldier, like, you know what I mean, as Bucky.
That's true.
So
That's
I
true.
don't know if he does have that in him.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, bro. It's one of those things where, with Tom Hiddleston, right? Could he play Thor? He probably could because he's a good actor, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just the fact that we've seen him as Loki already. We just can't see him as Thor.
You can't unsee it.
Yeah, you can't unsee it. Same
like,
thing
dude,
with Bucky.
imagine Tobey Maguire as Green Goblin. And it's like,
fuck no.
Motherfucker, I see him as Spider-Man.
Yeah, hell no.
How the fuck am
yeah.
I don't know.
It's one of those things. And the thing is, with Bucky's character, or the actor, like you said, I can't necessarily judge him. I can only base him off of Bucky, bro.
Right.
I don't know any other movie that I've seen or show where he was in where I actually saw his acting skills. I didn't see any of that. So
right.
I can only base him off as Bucky. he did good as Bucky, and I just see him as, I just see him as Bucky, to be honest. But
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
All right.
That's actually cool.
Yeah, man. So next super fact I have on here. I think you know this already. This is very well known in the MCU community. Everyone already knows this. John Krasinski, who we know as Jim from The Office, also auditioned for the role.
I did not know this.
Oh, I thought you did.
Hell no, bro.
Yeah, bro. John Krasinski.
Fucking Jim from The Office.
He auditioned for the role of
Captain America?
Yes.
What the fuck?
And didn't get it, obviously.
Obviously. Could he that's interesting, because I don't know, man. I really don't know. I bought it when he was when he did a cameo for Reed Richards in Multiverse of Madness.
I see it too.
I bought that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you know what? I can see that shit. But with Captain America, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just one of those things, man, that Chris Evans, like, I think he's the perfect Captain America.
Well, yeah, and
you know
also because we have spent so many years watching him on screen.
Exactly, man. It's super difficult to answer these types of, like, questions.
The what ifs, right?
But what ifs, right? I mean, he's a good actor.
He is. Oh, he's a great actor. Great
like,
writer, great director.
So, could he play him? Yeah, possibly. He probably can.
Probably.
But it's one of those things, we're back again, same thing with Bucky, with Tom Hiddleston. We can't necessarily unsee it. But yeah, that's actually
cool. That's true. After Emily Blunt.
Who's that?
Okay, so Emily Blunt is the mom in A Quiet Place.
Oh, that girl. Okay,
she was also the love interest of the stuntman guy from The Fall Guy.
Oh, her. Okay, gotcha.
So you know her, right?
Gotcha.
So you know how... You also know that in real life, she's married to John Krasinski.
I think we talked about that in our Fall Guy. Or not... Oh, actually, no. I was going to say in our Fall Guy review. We didn't review that. No, but I think we talked about it, like, when we saw Fall Guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know that, like, in real life, John
They're
Krasinski
actually together.
and Emily Blunt are actually married.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, yeah, we did talk about this because we talked about Quiet Place and how they
play a married couple.
Exactly, and they're actually married. Yeah, okay.
So this next super fact says...
What about her?
After Emily Blunt, John Krasinski's wife, didn't get the role of Black Widow in Iron Man 2, she was approached by Marvel for the role of Peggy Carter. But she turned the offer down due to scheduling conflicts. But they actually did come back to her, like, hey, like, you know what, you're not right for the role of Black Widow, sorry, thank you for auditioning. And then while they were looking for Peggy Carter, low-key, she could play her. And they approached her with it, like, hey, we want you to come play Peggy Carter, and she couldn't do it because she was doing another movie.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, man, so they actually approached her. She didn't audition, they offered it to her.
Damn.
Interesting. So what do you think about that?
I mean, from when I see Quiet Place, I think she did good. Same thing with Fall Guy.
Right.
Fall Guy is a good movie. I really enjoyed that movie. She did great as well. So could she play Peggy Carter for sure? But I guess because isn't Peggy? I don't know why I'm saying Peggy, bro. Peggy.
Yes.
Carter. Isn't she fucking like from the UK? So she'd have to create it. So my thing is she actually? Does she actually have that accent? Her actor?
I think so, bro, because I believe she talks like that in Mission Impossible.
Okay.
Remember Peggy Carter's in Mission Impossible, the new one.
Oh yeah, she is, huh? And she does
Cruise.
talk. Yeah, she does talk like that. So okay, if that's her actual, like, if she could talk like that, then it fits, right? But what about Emily Blunt? Would she have to create like?
She has the accent too.
Oh, does she?
She's British.
Oh, what the fuck? So in Fall Guy, she did an American accent. Cause she didn't have a British accent.
Really?
I don't think she had a British accent.
I could have sworn she's British, bro. Oh
yeah,
my god.
Well, as like real life, yes, right? I'm assuming, but I could have sworn she didn't. I didn't catch no accent.
Yeah, she's
in Fall
British.
Guy.
She's British.
Okay.
So regardless whether she had an accent or not on Fall Guy, she would have an actual accent for the role of Peggy.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. This was one of those things where she probably could have, man. I'm not gonna lie, because we only see Peggy Carter in this movie. She did good, but it's not to the point where that's my Peggy Carter. Could it be someone else?
Yeah.
You know, so she probably could have. She probably could have done a great job as well.
Yeah.
As that, to be honest. But the real question is, who do you prefer? Who do you prefer as in like? I'm a slide. Like
Haley Atwell.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah. She is pretty bad, man.
Yeah, dude.
She's pretty, man.
Now, who's badder, her or Black Widow?
Okay, but like, Like peak Black Widow.
Like not now Black Widow?
But like peak Black Widow back in Avengers and Iron Man 2.
Let's say Iron Man 2 Black Widow. And then Peggy Carter from this movie.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I would take both of them, man.
That's a correct answer.
No, but I asked you which one you prefer. Nah, I can't choose, man. I gotta take both of them. No, that's tough, man.
Both of them are none of them at all. But it's the first option only.
For real. I mean, they're both okay. Okay, you know what? If we're talking peak Black Widow, I think it's gotta be Black Widow, man.
Low key. I don't know, man. I'm a sucker for redheads.
Yeah, man.
Low key.
That's true, man. But brunettes, I like brunettes too, and she's pretty, man. She's pretty too. So it is tough, man. It is tough. But if we're talking like peak, if we're talking Black Widow now, and then Peggy Carter here, I'm going with Peggy Carter. She's still. Don't get me wrong, Black Widow now is still pretty, but hey, peak Black Widow, dang, that's something you can't. That's lightning in a bottle, man. You feel me? Limited time only.
Oh.
You feel me? You can't. That's crazy, man. I remember that scene we talked about in Iron Man 2 where she's out here changing, lifting her leg up, and fucking Happy's looking.
Oh, in the back seat?
Yeah, Happy's looking in the mirror and shit. I'm crashing that hoe. we said this in the
yes.
review. Remember that?
Yes, bro.
I'm crashing that hoe. Skirt. Oh, my fault. No, even when I crash, I gotta make it like I can't scream or make a face. I gotta act chill.
Or else she'll think I'm a bitch.
Or yeah, type shit. Have you seen those memes, bro? Dude, those memes are funny and like fucked up. I saw a meme where like where this dude's making that Sigma Riz face, like acting all cool, and it says when there's a school shooting, but I gotta act cool in front of my crush, and like there's shots ringing out and like people screaming, and he's like, "Yo, like all chill." I'm like, what the fuck, bro? That's so funny, man. That shit real. That shit
real.
That shit relatable, man. That's real as fuck.
Oh my god.
I can't look like a bitch hive. What you mean, girl? It's fucking Black Widow, girl. I can't.
You gonna fumble that?
For real. I can't do that. But no, yeah. Okay, peak Black Widow. I'm choosing peak Black Widow. Fuck it.
That's true.
But like perfect world, both of them. Both of them. Just both of them. Y'all get the gist. All right. So, okay. What's the next one? What's the next one?
The next fun fact I have on here. This one's gonna freak you out.
Oh fuck! Freak me out like how, bro? Like it's freaky deaky.
Like it's freaky like Black Widow.
What the fuck?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. I was like, what the fuck? Yo, the director got sucked off by their employees. What the fuck? Like. That's what I was thinking when you said freak. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck happened? Between takes, Chris Evans got it on with Peggy Carter. Peggy Carter was pegging Chris Evans. Hey, yo, what the fuck? I thought that's freaky shit. Okay, but you mean freaky on some like creepy shit?
No, like as in like you're not gonna believe this.
Oh shit!
You're not gonna believe this.
Okay.
Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Actually turned down the role of Captain America.
Whoa, that is kind of freaky, man.
Hey.
Okay.
3 times.
What the fuck?
Yeah, bro.
He turned down the role 3 times.
3 times. Mainly because he was unsure about signing onto a 9-movie contract.
Oh, fuck. That's fair, though. That's fair, dude. I guess, okay. That makes sense. I thought it was because, like, he just didn't fuck with the character or something. Like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
But that kind of makes sense, man. That's true. They did sign him on a fucking 9-year contract. So I definitely understand why he thought that, but hey, thank God he's in it. Bro, that's my Captain America, girl. You feel me? Even though we got the new Captain America.
Sam Wilson.
Falcon. I'm sure he's going to be great. He's going to be fire.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. The OG Captain America, Chris Evans, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah, man.
That's where it's fucking at.
That's facts.
Wow, that's actually really cool. That's actually interesting, man.
I know.
But I don't blame him. I don't blame him, though.
It's true, bro. I mean, there's a good reason behind it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure now, like, since they know, like, if Marvel, like, today came out to an actor, most likely they'll say yes, because they're like, bro, it's Marvel, bro. They're a fucking multi-million-dollar company.
Right.
Like, but back then, this is phase 1, and it's like, whoa, 9 years, bro. We don't know if these movies are going to hit or not.
you made the same mistake for Iron Man 2. Because I said Nick Fury had to sign a 9-movie contract deal. You made the same. You made the same mistake back then.
What do you mean?
It's not 9 years. It's 9 movies, despite how many years each movie takes to make.
Sorry.
So it could be more than 9 years, girl.
That's true.
It just so happens that they were able to make movies consistently that the MCU
you're
lasted
right,
11 years.
Sorry. It's because every year there's always a Marvel movie.
That's right.
So yeah, no, you're right. I made the same mistake.
Yeah, but no, dude.
9 movies.
9 movies.
9 movies.
Bro, and imagine that. And you're on, by contract, you have to be in those movies, bro.
Like, let's say they don't make a let's say they don't make a movie with him, right?
Okay.
Like, let's say he needs one more movie to get the contract, right? But it's like been 30 years, and like he's still on the contract for whatever reason. He's like, "Yo, what am I gonna be out of this contract?" Well, we still haven't made the 9th movie, buddy.
They just never make it.
Yeah, they just never make
You're
it.
under our boot.
No, not that, and like the contract is like you can't be in any other movie until you do. You can't be in any other movie until you complete the 9 movie contract. He signs it because I bet 9 movies fine. It's been 30 years. What? His acting career's over. What the fuck? Please, let's make a 9th movie. Man, that'd be fucked up if the contract was like that. Like, yo, you're stuck with us for 9 movies and you cannot be in any other project until the 9 movies are done.
Well, that actually happened, bro.
No shot.
To Elizabeth Olsen, the actress who played Scarlet Wanda.
Wanda?
Yeah, she's talked about that there have been certain movies that she's auditioned for that she's gotten the part.
Okay.
Like she was cast in the movie, but due to scheduling conflicts and because she's under contract to play Scarlet Witch, she had to unfortunately step away from those movies.
But it's not forcefully in a sense where Marvel didn't say, "Hey, you can't be in that movie." It's more so scheduling issues.
Yes, it's like, well, by contract, I have to do this movie with them.
You have to put us priority.
It's like putting it like this. Oh shit! In my 9 movie deal, I'm on movie 6.
Yeah.
So like, and we're scheduled to like film and post production and do reshoots and blah 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 in this time period. Therefore, I audition for this role, but oh fuck, they're filming the same time I'm doing Marvel,
and my priority is Marvel,
and my contract means I have to be with them. They don't have a contract with this other movie because they just audition. You don't even know if you got the part. But there's been certain auditions that she almost got the part for, and plans fell through because scheduling conflicts with Marvel. So she's been vocal, especially because her contract technically ended with Multiverse of Madness.
Oh wow,
that was her last movie on her contract. So after that, she was very vocal about, like, not like shitting on Marvel. She just says like, yeah, like signing those contract deals meant that I had to miss out on certain movies that I auditioned for that I almost got, but then oh shit, I can't actually come out and film it because I'm doing this other movie.
Yeah. Wow, man.
So that's a very real thing, bro.
No, but imagine like the contract is like they force you. Nah.
Hell no.
Can't be in any movie until we finish our movies. It's been 40 years. We don't give a fuck. You slut. Anyway, what's the anyway, point is, y'all. Point is, peak Black Widow. Anyway, all right, let's go on. What's the next one?
Next fun fact I have on here.
Yeah.
Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Never auditioned for the role of Captain America. Director Joe Johnston knew, quote unquote, he wanted Evans to play the role.
Oh wow. I wonder what made him like come to that conclusion. Like, what was another movie that Chris Evans was in
that made him like he needs to be the one?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That I didn't know. He just like knew.
Human Torch. Yeah. Human Torch. And that's the thing I was gonna ask you, bro, because I don't remember the Fantastic Four movie like that.
Okay.
My thing is, do you think? Okay. Do you think the way he played Human Torch, or because you saw Human Torch first, or like Fantastic Four first, right?
Right, yeah.
When you saw his character and you knew that Chris Evans was going to be Captain America, did you think, oh shit, like is he going to bring Human Torch vibes?
Well, that's the thing though, is that
or what?
I was 10.
Oh shit, yeah.
I was a kid, so to me it was more exciting that I'm like, oh, I know that actor. He played Human Torch. Oh wow, he's going to be Captain America now. Cool. Let's see how it goes.
That's true. That's true.
But like, of course, if that were like me now, then I would be like,
oh shit,
can he pull it off? You know,
yeah,
trust me.
okay.
I get it, but for me,
Yeah.
it's just like I was a kid at the time, and I remember when I found that out, I was like, oh, okay, cool, let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't very like, what's
That's
gonna
fair,
happen?
bro. I forgot, man. Yeah,
But,
we were fucking kids, bro. I forgot.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, I could see though if like people obviously who were older that saw that movie would have that kind of doubt as well.
Mhm.
Like, oh shit, like he played Human Torch, but can he play Captain America?
Right.
But no, clearly, man, Chris Evans is a bomb. Chris Evans is lit, bro.
Mhm.
He's lit as fuck. Anyway, that's actually pretty interesting.
Mhm.
I still want to know what kind of like what was the role. There's no way it was Human Torch.
No, I can't be.
No, it had to have been some other movie that he was in.
And at the time, other than Human Torch, like Chris Evans was just doing like comedy movies. So it's another weird thing is like what could have convinced Joe Johnston?
If it wasn't a movie, it could have been that maybe he had like a real life interaction with him. Be like, yo,
Something like a meeting or
like
red
you-
carpet, like, hey,
Yeah.
what's going on type shit.
Interesting.
The physique, like, oh, he's tall, he's blonde, blue eyed type shit. I don't know.
Interesting. All right.
Next fun
one?
fact: Chris Evans was only paid $300,000 to play Captain America.
Whoa. What the fuck?
$300K.
Nah, man. That's too low. That's too low, Hav.
Why?
What you mean, girl?
Why?
300K?
Why?
Because I'm playing Captain America, girl.
Okay, but remember, Iron Man 1,
Uh-huh.
Terrence Howard was the most paid actor.
How much was he getting paid?
I don't know, but it was more than Robert Downey Jr. And he was the title character. You got to remember, bro, these contracts sometimes move by your popularity, not
That's
so much
true.
if you're playing the title character. Sometimes that plays a factor, especially if you're doing a movies with a bunch of nobodies. But if you got other actors that are bigger than you and shit,
That's
how much
true.
you want to bet Stanley Tucci was paid more? The
Who's
guy
that?
that played Abraham Erskine, because he is a much older, established actor who's done other movies. And look
Gotcha.
at look how small of a role he has.
Damn. Okay, 300K. Hey, man. That's still a lot of money, though. But damn, but like knowing how well the movie did is like, damn. That's kind of fucked up. They
Well,
robbed his
no,
ass.
because there's other certain movie contracts that you can sign where it's like, okay, we'll pay you this amount of money for playing the character, for playing this role in the movie. Also, however much movies that it makes in the box office, you get a certain cut.
Oh,
That's
I
another
gotcha.
thing, too.
Oh, okay. I thought overall that's just how much he made.
No. Like to play
oh,
the
okay,
role, he
gotcha,
played
gotcha,
300K.
Okay.
He probably got more money based on how much money it made in the box office. The number,
Bro,
I'm not sure.
Imagine how much he made in Endgame.
Yeah, think about that.
Hey, damn.
Think
bro.
about that.
That's crazy, man.
Not even just him, bro.
Everyone else, yeah. Robert Downey Jr. Yeah.
All of them. Think about that.
They made hella money, bro. Damn.
It's crazy, bro.
That's crazy. I could do that.
Yeah, man.
I could act. Fuck it.
Yeah,
just
like Odin.
yeah, Odin.
Yeah, shut up.
Father. I'll do that line. Fuck it. Fuck it. You have Will Mjolnir. You say like a cool one-liner. Let's get cracking. Or something. I don't know. But anyway, okay, that's good. All right. That's 300K. Fuck it. All
Yeah,
right.
man. Next fun fact I have on here. Actor Stanley Tucci, who plays Dr. Abraham Erskine,
Okay.
the scientist behind the super soldier serum. The actor Stanley Tucci signed on for the movie because he wanted to work on his German accent.
What the fuck?
That's why he did it.
So he was on some like weird random side quest.
Yeah, that's why he did the movie.
He's like, you know what? Fuck it. Why not?
I need practice on my German accent. I've never done a German accent
Nein.
role.
This
Like,
opens his door. Like
Yeah.
type shit.
It's like I've never done a role like that. Let me work on that. Fuck it, let me do it.
That's so weird. Is he really that big? Where like he just did this movie as like a side quest? I've never seen him in any other movie.
Yeah, you have.
Which movie?
He's the murderer. He's the dude that kills the girl in Lovely Bones.
Oh, that's him? Oh shit. No, that movie's fire.
I know. I've never seen it.
You never seen it, bro?
I've never seen the
Bro.
Lovely Bones.
Have. That's criminal, bro. Lovely Bones is a really dude. That's probably like one of the movies that like got me like really sad, bro.
I believe it.
Like, yo, like that's sad as fuck, bro. But dude, now looking at it, yeah, that is him, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit! Was he in any other?
I'm sure he
movies
was,
that-
bro. Movies that you've seen though, I'm not sure. I knew you knew him from Lovely Bones.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you're right. That was him. Interesting, dude. And Lovely Bones came out after or before Captain America, right?
Before.
Damn, is really that old?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
He was in the Hunger Games.
Oh, he was in the Hunger Games?
I don't know who he played. I have the list of movies.
Can I see him?
Hunger Games, The King's Man, The Lovely Bones,
Oh,
The
he
Devil
is.
Wears Prada,
I think I've seen that movie too.
Beauty and the Beast, animated, not the live action remake.
Transformers?
Transformers, Age of Extinction. He's in quite a few Transformers movies. Obviously, Captain America, Jack the Giant
He
Slayer.
was also in Catching Fire.
He was also in Catching Fire. He's in BoJack Horseman, Robots.
That movie's fire.
Never seen it.
It's a fire movie.
Spotlight, Transformers.
Damn, bro. Damn, he was in a lot of movies.
Wild Card with Jason Statham. Yeah, man. He's like I said, he's an established
Interesting,
actor.
okay.
He's done a lot of shit.
Okay. So he said, fuck it, let me do this movie because I want to talk.
And who knows?
I want to size German.
And here's the thing. Who knows, right? He probably was paid the most money because, like I said, established
He was,
actor.
yeah, he was probably the biggest actor there. Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
man. Okay. Next fun fact. After playing Bucky in the first Avengers, actor Sebastian Stan was still figuring out how to pay his rent since he was still new to the Hollywood scene.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So despite the money he made playing Bucky, he was still figuring out how to pay rent.
Wow. What the hell?
And it's not so much.
Why?
It's not so much. Damn, he got fucked over a contract.
Yeah, no.
It probably just because living in LA is expensive as shit, bro.
Dude, it's hella expensive. That's where, like, people say, oh, if you want to become a successful anything, bro, you go to fucking LA, like, influencer, fucking
Yeah,
actor.
dude, but like the amount of fucking money it takes to
That's
live
facts,
there.
bro.
So
That's
after
facts.
playing Bucky in that first movie, because it was just after the first Avenger, he was still figuring out how to pay rent during this time.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
It makes you think, like, how much money did he make?
That's
Or
another
they
thing.
don't
Well,
pay
I
him,
mean,
or they-
because he is like just a secondary character.
That's true. Do you think they pay you after the movie's done, or during the movie? How does that work?
I think it's after. Realistically, it would be after. No, you do your thing. First, you do your job, and then we pay you for it.
Interesting. Okay.
I assume that's how it is.
Yeah. Okay. But what if, like, you're filming for a year? How you're making money that year?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're filming for, like, a certain amount of year or, like, 6 months, okay, are you not making income in those 6 months?
Right.
So it's kind of like, how the fuck do you pay your bills? What the fuck?
That's true.
Interesting. All right.
All right,
This-
next fun
yeah.
fact I have on here. The film uses 4 different types of Captain America shields.
Wait, say that again?
The film uses 4 different types of shields.
Oh, because I noticed it was different shield. Like, the shield where he ends up saving the prisoners, it was like
The
like
badge looking one?
Yeah.
I'm
that-
talking about the circle shield.
Oh,
But the film uses 4 different types.
why?
A metal one,
Okay.
a fiberglass one,
Okay, that makes I can see
a rubber one,
that makes sense.
and a CGI one.
That makes sense. I can see that because you have to hit the people, or you have to hit the person, right? So you don't
Exactly.
want to actually hurt them. So you use maybe the spongy shield one.
Yes.
The one, probably the one for the metal. Some cinematic shots where, like, you can see the reflection.
Exactly.
Right, stuff like that.
When he throws it.
it.
That's CGI.
Yeah, type shit.
That's
Okay.
what I mean.
That makes sense. That's pretty cool. What's the next one?
Next fun fact I have is Jon Favreau, the
I
director.
know that guy now. Happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also the director of the first 2 Iron Man movies.
Yeah.
He originally pitched Marvel a Captain America comedy film, but instead did the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah. Good thing, bro. Good thing, bro. I'm not trying to see no Captain America comedy movie, bro. Nah, we
That's
good.
crazy.
And the fact that he wanted to do that, but then made a banger.
Instead.
It's like, what the fuck? That's kind of strange.
And I mean,
thank God for that.
the comedy aspect I feel like fits Iron Man more,
That's true.
as we saw in the movie.
That's true.
You know, Robert Downey Jr. had great comedic timing in his
Mm-hmm.
in his scripts and stuff.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, man.
Okay. What's the next one?
The Incredible Hulk director, Louis, I forget if it was Louis or Louis. I'm going to just say Louis. Louis Leterrier was also interested in directing the film after seeing concept art, but Marvel declined him.
Oh wow, what the fuck? So he declined. What was it again?
No, he was so the director of the first Incredible Hulk movie with Edward Norton. He wanted to do the movie. He was interested after he saw concept art, but Marvel declined.
Damn.
He's like, we don't want you there.
The Hulk. Come on, man.
The Hulk wasn't all that.
Do you think that's why? Look at the
Well,
numbers.
the Hulk did come out first.
That's true. Probably the numbers weren't there or something. He said, "Nah,
Probably.
you good."
Probably,
Damn.
bro.
I wonder how he felt, man. Fuck y'all.
Well, I mean, as from my knowledge, bro, he did not come back to do another MCU movie.
That was the only movie he did?
I believe so.
Was that his first and last movie he did for the
I
MCU?
believe so.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
I didn't even think the Hulk was that bad, man. I thought it was a good movie.
I don't think so either. But then again, you know,
I get
studios,
it.
higher ups,
Yeah.
they look at the money, box office,
Look at the numbers. Yeah.
all that shit.
Okay.
And that's all the fun facts.
Oh, that's all of them?
That's all the ones that I have, bro. So
Oh,
now we're
shit.
gonna transition into Easter eggs.
Oh, sweet.
All
Say
right.
less.
I'm gonna get to the Easter egg section now for super facts. Okay, the first Easter egg that I have is, while Captain America was doing like that propaganda script shows when he was touring and shit, the Captain America #1 comic book issues make brief appearance in the film.
Yeah, that's what we saw.
Yeah, that's the one that we talked about earlier.
Yep.
At the Stark Expo, an android in a red jumpsuit is shown, like in the background. Like
Okay.
if you look around that scene, there's a mannequin, like an android with a red jumpsuit on.
Okay.
This is a reference to the original Human Torch, Timely
Oh, wow.
Timely Comics' first superhero.
Oh, wow.
This was back when Marvel used to be called Timely Comics.
Timely Comics. Yeah.
And
And
obviously
actually-
that's another reference because Chris Evans
And
played the Human Torch.
And when Captain America came out, like the first issue, it was Timely Comics at the time, not Marvel Comics. But dang, I did not catch that, bro. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And like I said, it's another reference because Chris Evans played
It's Human Torch.
the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
The next Easter egg I have is the first Captain America suit that we see in the War Bond rallies, including his badge-shaped shield, is a reference to the original Captain America look from the Captain America #1 comic in 1941.
Yeah, I recognize the shield with the 3 stars on it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually cool.
Yep.
I recognize the shield. The suit, I didn't make the connection at all.
In one scene when he's like in the show, right, where like he's on stage and he's reading like the teleprompter and shit. The scene where he punches the Hitler actor on stage is a reenactment of the cover of Captain America #1.
Oh yeah, there is. There's a cover art where he's actually punching Hitler. It's actually kind of funny, and they did that because the whole propaganda shit.
Exactly.
That's actually funny. Yeah. Okay. I did catch that.
Next Easter egg. This is the first film that introduces the vibranium material to the MCU.
Yes, I did catch that. Because as they were giving him his shield, they said, "What the fuck? How can it do that?" And I think it was Howard Stark that said, "Oh, it's made out of vibranium."
Yeah, the rarest metal on Earth.
Yeah,
He
and
says
so
that.
far this is all we have, or something at that time. I remember. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Steve and Bucky visit the Stark Expo. Here they meet Howard Stark, who is Tony Stark's father. The expo showcases a flying car as well as other inventions, leading the way for Tony Stark and his inventions, fast forwarding to the Iron Man 1 era.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially the inventions there that they showed in the Stark Expo.
It's like a reference, it's like a nod to like, oh, his son when he's born in the future is going to take his inventions and like continue to innovate, and that'll eventually innovate him to create Iron Man, the suits and stuff.
Yeah. That is true, because in Iron Man 1, or is it 2? No, Iron Man 1 is when we see the Stark Expo shit. Remember like the whole diagram?
That was
And-
2.
Was it 2?
Yeah, remember? Because that's the one where he figures out
Oh
the
shit,
atom.
you're right. Sorry, it was 2. Yeah, I forgot. It was 2. We see the whole Stark Expo diagram, and the Stark Expo's like I think I want to say a bigger event than what it is.
Oh, yeah, no.
What
Here
it
it's
is
like a
here.
smaller scale in the
Yeah. That's actually pretty cool. And is that it?
No, I have more. I have 2
Okay,
more.
Bet.
When,
What?
Wait, well, this one kind of like skips to the end of the movie. Is that fine?
Does it skip to the end?
Yeah.
Of the movie?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, fuck it. Why not?
All right, fuck it. Sorry, I have 3 more left. Sorry. So this is
fine.
when Red Skull holds the Tesseract in his hand, he is randomly transported away into space. This is because we later find out the Tesseract contains the Space Stone, one of the 6 Infinity Stones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. The next one I have on here at the very end of the movie, the baseball game playing on the radio when Steve Rogers wakes up in modern times is a real baseball game from 1941 where the Dodgers beat the Phillies 8-4.
Oh wow, that's actually pretty cool. That's actually a nice little detail.
Yeah, man, I like when they just pull real life events.
Yeah, right. That's actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right, one last what's it called? Easter egg that I have on here.
Okay.
Do you remember when I told you about that autograph girl?
That lady, yes, the blonde lady. What is it? Why is she important? What's wrong with this girl?
As a joke,
Okay.
many years after the film came out, James Gunn went to Twitter and confirmed the young blonde woman who asked for Steve Rogers' autograph is Star-Lord's grandmother.
What? What the fuck? Wait, he really did that?
He really went on Twitter and said, "This is Star-Lord's grandma."
Why?
Ready? This is because the actress who played her is also the actress. She's the same actress who plays Star-Lord's, not grandma, but mom in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Okay. Okay, I see what he's trying to do here.
Since Gunn confirmed this became canon.
Oh, wow. Okay, so now that's canon. That's the grandmother, because the actual actor played
The
a
actress who
Star-Lord's
played
mom.
is the same lady who played the autograph girl.
Yeah, okay.
And since this takes place in the 40s,
Right.
I want to say Star-Lord was born 80s time, like around the 80s, right? Maybe late 70s. Timeline-wise, it makes sense because she looks young as hell in 1941, then she looks young as hell but dying of cancer in the 80s. So it only makes sense to say that that's the grandma, and then that's the mom, and then Star-Lord, right?
Yeah.
So since they used the same actress, James Gunn was like, "Oh yeah, this is Star-Lord's grandmother."
He said, "Fuck it."
And as another joke, I don't have this in my notes. I don't know why I don't have this written down. A lot of people like to say there's a lot of this is going to be really weird.
Okay.
There's a debate. And if you remember, this very same debate was referenced in She-Hulk.
Okay.
There's this debate on whether or not Steve Rogers is a virgin or not.
Oh.
And there's been a lot of people who are like, because, he's one of those, like, I'm waiting for the right one. And he never really got his shot with Peggy because he crashes the plane, goes into the ice, right? All that shit. So it's like, that's crazy. My man's a 90-year-old virgin. What the hell, right? And if you remember in She-Hulk, Jennifer, that's her name, right? Jennifer Walters? Her alter ego?
I think so, yes.
So she mentions the idea of, like, is he actually a virgin? Has he actually slept with somebody?
Yeah.
And Hulk finally confirms, like, yes, he had sex with a lady back in time, blah, 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 this and that. And that's when she was like, Captain America fucks. Like, she was all celebrating. Because they were drinking and getting drunk at the bar.
Yeah.
A lot of people are now making the connection to what Hulk said in the She-Hulk show and saying, hold on. Is the girl who asked for the autograph his first?
Bruh. Nah, man. and is it Star-Lord? What if that's...
Well, then people started bringing that up too, but a lot of people were like, that's a stretch.
No, that is
But he actually did hook up with that bitch?
No, I don't think so. If anything, it'd be the other girl that was actually making out with him. Remember?
Well, if you remember, he pulls away from her, though.
Well, he pulls away because Peggy was there.
And then
you said Peggy Cotta. You said Peggy Cotta.
Caught them.
Oh, he said caught them. I think
Yeah.
I think he tried saying Carter, but said cotta. Like
In an
a weird
accent.
accent.
No, bro. I said
I was
because
like,
Peggy
what?
caught her.
I was like,
Caught them.
No, yeah. That's why.
But,
That's why I backed off.
but-
Me, I said, nah, come here. Both
Join
of
in.
y'all. Bro, okay, How? Listen, bro. How? This bro was like a loser, like short, skinny as hell.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he buff as hell, nice physique, attractive, a bunch of girls going after him. And he's like, nah, I want the right one, Peggy Carter. If you're in that position, would you be that way too? Or would you be like, hell no, where y'all at? Where everybody at?
I'm like, where everybody at?
For real, that's facts. Come on now. Come on now, Captain America. But hey, that's why he's Captain America. You're a better man than me. You're a better man than me, man. Because I'd have been like, yeah, sure, Peggy, you can look if you want. I don't give a fuck. I'll get you later. And push her away. I'll get your ass later. Let me finish up with this shotty right here. And like do his thing.
And if you're
like,
impatient, I won't stop you.
For real? You want to join in? Fuck it. Hell in the Cell. Money in the bank.
Oh my god.
I'll hang myself up. I'll hang myself up and you guys climb a ladder and get up to me.
What the fuck does that mean?
Money in the bank. You know what Money in the Bank would have a briefcase?
Yes, the briefcase.
And they're climbing up the ladder. So instead of the briefcase, it's Captain America hanging butt naked. And it's Peggy Carter and the girl fighting for him. He's just hanging butt naked. And that's stupid, I know. All right,
So I was like, "What are you going with this?" But okay, now.
That's actually so stupid. But, yeah, okay. Fuck. What were we talking about again? The theory.
The actress.
Oh yes.
So because they used the same actress that played same autograph girl from Captain America, the same actress who played Star-Lord's mother in the beginning of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
And people are thinking that, what if that was his first?
Yeah.
I don't think so, man.
I don't know about that.
I don't think so, no.
So that I'm going to be honest, that I don't know. But because of James Gunn, it is confirmed that lady is Star-Lord's grandmother.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Is that the last one?
That is the last of super facts, bro. That's all the super facts I have.
Here's the thing, man. I wrote down some shit, man.
Oh, fuck, bro.
I thought this was a cool fun fact, and that's with the whole propaganda situation with Captain America that I mentioned earlier in the pod, and I said I'll dive deeper into it.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, so what I have written down is that World War II began in 1939. Captain America was created in 1941, the same year the Soviet Union was being invaded by Germany. Is that a coincidence, Hav? No. Because Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, the creators and writers of Captain America, were Jewish Americans, so therefore had a motive behind America joining the war. They believed if America joined the war, then Germany would certainly lose, so they thought that it was necessary for America to be pro-World War II. And that is why Captain America was created, propaganda, to promote the war and try to get Americans to join the fight. But, right, some have argued that the creation of Captain America was for profit. During this time, Americans were extremely proud of their country. They had a very strong sense of nationalism and patriotism. And Captain America represented the ultimate American patriot. So sure, the authors did play into the American ideals of patriotism, which in return did generate profit. But was that the real reason for creating Captain America? What do you think? I think it's both. I think because, the authors were, they were Jewish Americans, so of course they wanted to do anything to get Americans into the fight. But Marvel Comics, during this time known as Timely Comics,
right?
At the end of the day, bro, they're a business. So they probably saw the potential in sales and probably gave the green light on it, saying, you know what, that's actually a good idea. Not only is it create propaganda, but it'll give us some money, man, because people love America. At this time, bro, people love America. People have that patriotism, bro. They're like, for our country, USA.
It was very strong at the time.
Exactly. So they said, fuck it. Like, what do you think? You think it was more so for generating profit, or was it actually for propaganda, or do you think it was both? What do you think?
in a sense, I think it made more sense if it was both. No.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I think.
Yeah.
It was both. Because it was just propaganda, but let's say it was some bullshit propaganda like save all the kids in the world, right?
Yeah.
And like it's like a yo, Marvel or Timely Comments, man. We have a superhero. His name is Catman. He's gonna save all the kittens in the world, and the point is, we want to create propaganda to, shelter strays. You think Marvel's would be like, that shit lit? That shit lit as fuck. Use our money right now for illustrators, writers, and to distribute it in printing. Use it. Fuck no.
No.
Hell no. But what happened was like, hey, we have Captain America, man. The whole World War II shit's happening. Fucking Germany's now invading fucking the Soviet Union, bro. We got to get more people out there. Not only that, it's fucking Captain America. People love this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably thought of it as an opportunity for like to make money as well. They're like, you know what? You're right. And they greenlit it and they let them do it. And now, sure enough, people loved it. And actually, the propaganda actually kind of did work. Some people actually, teens, I guess, that were old enough to participate in the military, the ones that weren't forced to join, like that's drafted, right? Because that's unfortunate. Actually, there were some people that were actually inspired by that and actually wanted to fight, actually join the military like Captain America, or just yet be inspired in a sense where they end up donating, so they're doing their part. You know what I mean? But I think it's both, man. I think it's the propaganda and low-key money, dude. Because, come on, man. If you can make a propaganda of anything, but if it's something that's not going to make money, do you really think that the business, the distributors, are really going to give you the funds for it?
No.
Like what I said about the whole cat shit, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's just a cool fun fact that I thought that and that's why I actually really like this movie, bro, is they kind of play into that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I definitely like that one. But anyways, that's pretty much it for Super Facts.
That's Super Facts.
So let's get right back into the show. All right, guys, we are back. That was Super Facts. Okay, so we left off with Captain America regrouping with the escaped soldiers and marching back to the base. So at this point, right, Rogers gains his superiors' officers' respect and acknowledgement as a soldier and is given a high rank and the chance to fight as Captain America. Mm-hmm. And he's obviously a key figure on the war front opposing Hydra. So he then recruits his buddy Barnes and all these different other people that he saved to form his personal team called the Howling Commandos to take out the other known Hydra operations. So at this point, Howard Stark also outfits Rogers with his advanced equipment, including a durable custom combat uniform. That's where we get his actually updated uniform.
His Captain America suit.
Yeah, and his circular shield made of vibranium.
Fire.
Which is fire as fuck. And then so now we get like a cool ass montage, man,
of him just taking out those Hydra compounds.
Exactly, with his fucking group. And so now the next 2 years, right, he's out here with his Howling Commandos leading a strong offense and just sabotaging Hydra operations, and just that's basically what's happening. Mm-hmm. So now we're back, right? So after the 2 years of him just doing some badassery shit, right? We're in 1945, and this is the part where the team later assaults a train carrying Zola, right? Rogers and Barnes engage in a fight with the soldiers on the train, during which Barnes falls from the train to his apparent death, bro.
Yeah.
And this part, man, I was like, dang, that's... Well, obviously knowing the future movies, right? At this point, I'm like, damn, bro, that must fucking suck. Because at this point, they're on the train, man. They're fighting. They're doing their little thing. And actually, Barnes ends up falling, man. He ends up falling off the train. And I was like, dude, fucking Captain America, man. He probably... I was just... I at this point, I think it would have been super cool if, like, Captain America kind of lost his shit a little bit. Or maybe he had some sense of, like... This is me just speaking out shit, right?
Okay.
I think it'd be cool as fuck if, like, oh shit, no way, like, my best friend just died, and he loses it a bit. Where at this point, like, he's being more aggressive in a sense where he's doing some Batman shit. You know, where like the memes where Batman just beats the fuck out of
Okay.
people. What if he does that with like a random person or something, and we just see him lose it a bit, and then somehow he kind of regains, like, wait, what the fuck am I doing? I gotta lock the fuck in.
Yeah.
That's just me though. That's just me just spinning out shit. I think that would have been like kind of cool to see him kind of
lose it
a bit, because bro, he just technically witnessed Bucky's death. Right? But before we move on even further, right, we're
on the topic of Bucky.
On the topic of Bucky, right? We're gonna give you his super synopsis on Bucky. And actually, before we do you want to give a disclaimer actually on Bucky, how this super synopsis?
Oh yeah. So this is a super synopsis on Bucky Barnes, right? I know a lot of you guys are like, wait, well, we already know what's gonna happen, right? He's the Winter Soldier. Well, since we're not technically there yet in the MCU timeline, this is not necessarily gonna be delving into that future of him. This is just a super synopsis of Bucky Barnes from when World War II times, from when he was in the Howling Commandos and basically a partner of Captain America, taking down Hydra and taking on the Nazis in World War II. So this is the super synopsis of that era of Bucky. We will have a super synopsis in the future for when that character eventually gets introduced. But yeah, just wanted to clear that up.
So here's a super synopsis on Bucky Barnes. Here's a super synopsis on Bucky Barnes. James Buchanan Barnes, also known as Bucky, was an American soldier during World War II who lost both of his parents and was separated from his sister at the age of 10. He stayed at Camp Lehigh, where he was made a ward of the stay due to sharing his father's love for the armed forces. Barnes started a profitable venture providing supplies to soldiers and began receiving assignments as a special military operative. He met Steve Rogers, who later became Captain America, and joined him on his first mission against the Red Skull. Barnes underwent intensive training under Captain America's tutelage, receiving his costume identity as Bucky Barnes. Bucky and Cap devoted their commitment to serving the war as costume freedom fighters. They allied with the Submariner, the original Human Torch, and his mutant partner, Toro, in a team called the Invaders. Bucky left temporarily in 1942 to organize his own team, the Kid Commandos. In late 1945, Bucky and Cap found Nazi scientist Baron Zemo stealing an experimental drone plane. Bucky and Cap chased the plane and leaped onto it. Cap misses, but Bucky's sleeve caught onto the cockpit, leading the booby-trapped plane exploding, seemingly killing him.
All right, guys, welcome back. That was your super synopsis on Bucky Barnes. So returning back to the movie, we have witnessed his death, and as around this scene where we see one of Captain America's partners in the Howling Commandos actually locate Zola and they actually capture him. Mm-hmm. They bring him back to the compound where they are then interrogating him, and they are able to get the information from Zola on where the Red Skull is right now and where his last compound is for them to take him down.
Yep.
The problem is at this moment is that, Steve Rogers, he's not really in the mood to go after Red Skull because he's still mourning the loss of his best friend. Mm-hmm. So he's feeling down. In fact, I believe, if I remember correctly, he's in that bar where they all were 2 years prior. Where he was like recruiting them, but like by now, 2 years later, the bar is like bombed out and shit, and it's just like abandoned at this point. And then Peggy comes and visits him, consoles with him, talk for a bit, and she basically tells him like, why not use your sorrow as motivation to go after the Red Skull and end Hydra once and for all. And after her words of wisdom, he eventually takes his advice. He suits back up, and then they all roll up to that compound to take down the Red Skull. Yeah, so in this scene, Rogers leads an attack to stop Schmidt and is using his weapons of mass destruction on the United States. In this scene, we see that the Red Skull hops onto that one plane.
Yeah, the aircraft bomber.
It was an aircraft bomber, yeah. And then it takes off, but right before then, Rogers was able to jump and climb on board before it takes off, right? So he gets inside, and it's right here during a fight between him and Red Skull that he gets the upper hand on Rogers, and he basically gives like a villain speech or whatever, and then he goes and reaches for the fucking Tesseract.
Yep.
Right, he grabs it and he holds it in his hand, and at this moment is when we saw, I believe like we see the cube glow or something like that. It starts to glow, and then it just like opens a fucking wormhole, this portal, and you just see him scream, and he just gets sucked in, and then that's it. He gets taken away and he disappears. and the Tesseract doesn't go with him; it stays behind. And when the Tesseract falls, it kind of like melts through the ground.
Yeah.
And it just falls out of the plane into the ocean.
Into the ocean.
And gets lost. And
Exactly.
Shit. But that's basically what happened to Red Skull here. That's the last that we see of him.
And this is, I think, my major flaw in this movie.
Oh, you'd say this is a flaw?
I would say, bro, that I think Red Skull, like, was in this movie was not really a great villain.
Oh, wow.
In my opinion.
Okay.
I think there was more potential with Red Skull, man. Especially the way he went out. Captain America didn't really do shit to him, bro. He went out of his own will, like out of his own mistake or something. He picked up the Tesseract, and it just opened up, and oh shit, I'm sucked in. And like Captain America didn't really stop him.
That's true. That's
You know
true.
what I mean?
That's true.
And I think I kind of wish it was kind of underwhelming. I wanted a more of a better fight scene. I actually wanted to see Captain America actually defeat him. Leading up, like Red Skull's motives and leading up to it was really great. Like he's trying to take over the world, cool. But the fallout, the ending, the conclusion of Red Skull, which is very underwhelming, bro, and that's just I think one like major flaw in my opinion. Is they kind of just did him dirty. Oh, he got sucked up in a cube. That's it. Captain America didn't have any screen time to really fight him and actually defeat him.
Would you have wanted like a last boss fight type fight?
Oh, for sure, man. And like maybe I don't know, actually defeat him, and then somehow let's say Red Skull's maybe knocked out, and Captain America takes the wheel of the fucking plane, and then that's when Red Skull, I guess, tries to attack him with the Tesseract, but I don't know, maybe a beam shoots out, and I don't know, Captain America fucking deflects, or I don't know, man. I don't know, man. At this point, Hav, you know how we say, "Hey, man, put me in the writer's room." At this point, I can't.
One of those.
It's one of those things. No, but what I'm saying is, this time I'm lacking. Because I don't know what.
Oh.
I don't know what type of fight scene could have happened. All I know is that I would have wanted a fight scene, and there was not. It was not a fight scene. It was a scuffle. The Tesseract shit machinery got damaged or something, and Red Skull picked up the cube and he got sucked in. Captain America didn't really defeat him in my eyes, man. And I just thought that the Red Skull's conclusion was just very underwhelming, man. Like, I don't know. It was just, I think that was like my biggest issue with this movie.
I could see that. No, I could definitely
Personally.
understand. I think it's crazy that like you went as far as to say that he was not a great villain.
I mean, well, here's the thing. I guess, how do I explain this, man? Maybe I used the wrong words.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, maybe you're just saying like maybe you would have wished you saw him do more.
Yes, bro. Okay, well, like I like him as a villain. Like he's cool, but they didn't really expand on it. They didn't really branch off to see the heinous acts that, bro. The only bad shit that we necessarily saw him do was kill fucking 3 Nazis or whatever.
He's like little henchmen working.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, they were already bad. Like, let's see you. I don't know. Let's get some scenes where you bomb a fucking U.S. military encampment or some bullshit. Like, actually see more of him. His motives and the things he wants to do is good, right? But us not seeing him really do villain shit and him being defeated on his own demise, whatever, was just not great in my opinion.
That's true. I get you.
You know what I mean? At that aspect. Because, like, bro, the motive is kind of cool. Oh, shit, bro. He said, fuck Hitler. I'm going to be worse than Hitler. I'm going to take the whole world. Types, oh, shit, that's a cool motive. But yeah, we don't really see that.
Much of it.
Maybe we could have gotten like another montage video of him doing crazy shit. Like we got a montage video of fucking badassery from Captain America and his group. Maybe there could have been on the news, maybe like a montage of news. There's a Hydra has took over a certain amount of like cities and continents, and it shows like bombs falling on those cities, like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying, bro?
I get you.
That would have been fire. That'd have been like, holy shit, this buddy's actually doing shit. But no, we don't really get that, and it kind of leaves you like it's kind of underwhelming. It's all right, cool, and especially his death his death technically. Right. It's like, all right. That's just my biggest issue, bro, with this movie.
Is that the only flaw you have?
The only big issue that I have with this movie? I think so, man. I think so, bro. I would say so. I also another positive I would say is I do like the relationship between him and Peggy, Captain America and Peggy. I would say it's a lot better than the relationship was more established and better than Hulk's relationship
With Betty.
with Betty. You know what I mean? If anything, especially even more with actually maybe that's a little. I was gonna say maybe slightly better than Tony Stark and
Oh, that is a stretch.
I was about to say
What about Thor and Jane?
Thor and Jane. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Because I was about to say no with Pepper. No, because we had 2 movies with them. So I was thinking. Sorry, I was like, what the fuck is that other relationship I was thinking of? And it was Thor. Exactly. No, yeah, because Thor was there for a weekend, and it's like, yo, like it's a weekend. I'm in love with this bitch. It's been 2 days, and I'm in love with their people. It's only been 2 days, so yeah, definitely. This is another relationship that I say was better established and well done compared to with Jane and Thor and Bruce and Betty. But yeah, with Pepper, no, yeah, sorry, I got that confused. But yeah, that's another positive. But yeah, my only major fault I would say was Red Skull, bro. I kind of want to see more of him doing evil shit. Mm-hmm. His fucking death was fucking underwhelming as fuck. Captain America didn't even defeat him, technically, bro. Let's be real. And I think that's I think that's my only like big issue, bro, that I could see with them with this film. What about you? Like, what do you think?
I could understand where you're coming from. I could see what you mean about like how he didn't really do much. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think now that you did kind of open my eyes to that.
Yeah.
I would agree that that's probably a flaw in the movie, was having maybe a stronger antagonist. And again, agreeing with you, I think it is the only negative that I have in this movie. Because like I said, I even said it early in the podcast. Like I thought that everything they did in this movie was great. You know what I mean? But I will say I do think that the antagonist could be a little underwhelming. I would have liked to have seen more, and I get why they chose him to be the villain because it's World War II times.
Yeah, and it makes sense, bro.
You know, it's an iconic Captain America villain.
It's a perfect setup.
I get it, and so I do agree. Maybe if we would have seen him do more things, in that way we could have seen the severity of.
Because we don't see any progress from him. We see progress from Captain America and his team, taking down Hydra. We don't see any progress from Red Skull. We don't see, like I said, it could be like on the news, Red Skull has taken over Russia and like these certain cities and stuff. Like we could have seen something, maybe.
Or maybe before the montage where Captain America and the Howling Commandos were taking out all those Hydra compounds, we would see him do crazy shit before that scene.
Exactly. But there's nothing, bro. We don't even know how far he got with his expansion. And it's been 2 years.
That's facts.
It's been 2 years. We had zero update. The only thing we could think of what he's actually doing is right now, 2 years later, him sending a nuke to New York. That's it. But what about those 2? Bro, what were you doing for those 2 years? What were y'all doing? What was Red Skull doing? No evil shit. We don't know what territories he captured. We don't know how many civilians died at the hands of Red Skull. You know what I mean, bro? And that's just the thing. I wish that they fleshed them out more. And that's one thing that I guess we kind of see sometimes, bro.
In movies.
And especially superhero movies. Sometimes, especially with, I guess I would say, Whiplash, bro, and Iron Man 2.
Yep, absolutely.
Is they don't really flesh out the villains as much, man. We don't see them do fucking evil villain shit, bro. You know, unfortunately, Red Skull is just another example of that, and it sucks, man, because the motive and everything was there, but they didn't really expand. I mean, like I said, bro, it's been 2 years, bro. We don't know what the fuck he's been up to. We see no casualties, no invasions, no nothing. It's just, hey, bro, it's been 2 years. I'm here now, or well, now I can finally send my nuke, Captain America, since you're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's just my biggest issue. With this,
I agree.
Movie.
I could agree with you.
But okay, so now the Red Skull is finally defeated, right? Now this is another cool scene that I really do like, is that Captain America is now manning the plane. It's headed to New York, and it's malfunctioned to the point where he can't necessarily land it. So he has to crash land it. And this is another important piece of Rogers' character, is he's sacrificing himself, his life, to protect America and essentially the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I really did enjoy this, especially because he's on the call with Peggy Carter because he's trying to figure out, yo, is there a way I could fucking land this?
Mm-hmm.
And Peggy's trying to help him, but Captain America made the conclusion that, hey, there's nothing we could do here. And they have that one sentimental conversation saying, hey, let's go on that date or whatever, the whole dancing thing. I think, they mentioned it earlier in the movie.
Yes.
And stuff. And they essentially planned a day. Okay, I'll meet you at 7 or I'll meet you at 8 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then all you hear is just static. And to me, I'm like, oh my fuck, man. That's fucking sad, man. But respect to Captain America, man. That's what he is, man. He has that good heart. He sacrificed himself for people. And after that, where do we cut up? Where do we cut to, Hav?
So after that, it is presumed that he died.
Yes,
Obviously,
yes.
He crashed with the plane. But then after that, we also see that Stark was able to recover the Tesseract from the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they sent a search rescue to see if they could also locate Steve Rogers' body.
Yep.
And they could not.
They couldn't.
So they just felt like he just, even though they were able to find Schmidt's. Oh no! It says that they were unable to find his body and the aircraft.
Oh, that's right.
Both got lost.
Oh, because I think there was a scene where like he crashes, because he crashed in like a snowy area, I think, wasn't it? And then we see the ship sink down. So like it went underground, like I guess with the ice or snow or something like that, and that's how it got lost. Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
after that, we then get, like, we see that Stark was able to find the Tesseract, and that's how we eventually know that it maybe gets into the hands of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because as we know, and I believe this was Iron Man 2, we find out that Howard Stark was one of the founders in the creation of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's how we know that S.H.I.E.L.D. has a hold of the Tesseract from the end of Thor, the post-credit scene. How Nick Fury has it. So now we know what happens with the Tesseract. Okay, cool. Then we cut to Captain America, all right? And as we know, he was found from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So he wakes up in this hospital room, and it's a hospital room in the 1940s, and he's there, and there's a radio that's on that's playing, that has a baseball game playing over live. Then this lady comes in, and she's like, hi, like, you're finally awake. We've been waiting for this for a long time. And Captain America looking around, he's like, where am I? And he's like, oh, you're in the hospital. We found you in the ice, Captain, blah, blah, blah. Like, we just wanted to make sure that you were okay. And he's like, okay. Now where am I really? She's like, I don't understand. She goes, that game, the baseball game is playing on the radio is when the Dodgers beat the Phillies 8-4. I know because I was there.
that was crazy.
And that scene, bro, I remember when I was a kid and I saw it in theaters. I was like, what? Like, I'm like, what the fuck, right? Because I think as a kid, I wasn't too familiar with Captain America.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that he crashes into the ice, doesn't die, and emerges in modern times.
Okay.
So 11-year-old me was plot twisted by this movie.
Oh,
Low key. Were you like that?
Yeah. No.
Did you know the backstory of Captain America before watching the movie?
I did. I didn't know.
You did?
I did know, and I did know what was happening here. Like I knew it was modern. Like I knew he was suspicious, cause like, yo, what the fuck? It's time travel and shit here. Yeah.
So no, for me, I did not know. So when I was a kid, I was like, "What the fuck?" Right? So he was like, "I know, I was at that baseball game," and that's when he gets suspicious.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, look, I
This is a cool scene,
need
too.
you to calm down." And he's just like, "No, fuck that." And that's when he just like escapes, and he realizes the 1940s style hospital room was fake, and he's actually in some sort of like facility, and he makes a break for it, and he's running through the hallways, and he eventually goes outside,
And now he's in
running,
modern time.
and then he's running outside, and like he's running, he's what's it called, running onto the sidewalk, then he runs onto the street, and he ends up in Times Square. So now we find out that he's actually in New York, and he sees like the billboards and the jumbotrons, and you realize, oh shit, he's in modern times. And that's when we see like those black SUV cars pull up, like the CIA like undercover style trucks pull up, and out comes out Nick Fury, and he basically approaches him. He's like, yeah, sorry about that, we were trying to ease you into the fact. And he's like, what is this, like, where am I? And that's when he's like, you've been asleep for almost 70 years.
That's crazy.
You're now in our modern times. And so he basically just explains to him that he's like, it's been that long? Like, what year is it? It's like, well, it's 2012.
Yeah, dude.
And it's like, he's like, what the Like he's just like
bro.
freaking out over that. And so he kind of like he's like it's taking him a minute, right, to process what's going on. And he's just like, "Are you okay?" Like Nick Fury's like, "Are you going to be all right, Captain?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's just I had a date." And then black screen.
Damn, bro. Was there an end credit scene?
There's an end credit scene. Did you see it?
I'm trying to remember what it was, bro. Cause
The end credit
2 weeks
scene.
ago, I think.
The end credit
What was
scene.
it again?
It's a weird one. Actually, yeah. So the end credit scene for Captain America: The First Avenger was actually a trailer.
Oh, yes, I did see this.
Movies.
Yes, I did see this. Yes. Okay. That's why I didn't remember, because I remember it was like a trailer for the Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Dang,
That's what
that's
the
pretty
first.
cool.
That's what it was. And that scene where he's like punching the punching bag.
Yeah.
And he breaks it.
Oh,
That's
yes.
actually a scene from the first Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, I have a job for you. He's like, "You're trying to get me back into the world?" It's like, Fury. He's like, "I'm trying to save it." And that's when you get like this like Avengers trailer.
That's fire, bro.
And dude, 11-year-old me was like, "Oh shit!"
That's
like I was
fire.
freaking out because I'm like, Avengers is finally gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this was very hype. But that was the post-credits scene, quote unquote, right? Post-credits scene, technically, was the trailer for the Avengers.
Yeah, bro. That's fucking fire.
Which I'm excited, bro, because that's gonna be the next fucking movie.
Hey, that's gonna be a
review,
fun
bro.
one, man. That's definitely gonna be a fun one. I'm excited to rewatch it, man. It's been a long time. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. The plot breakdown, our analysis, us reviewing it. But listen, before we get into our final thoughts and our rating, we are gonna provide our last segment of the show, and that is reading recommendations. So here you guys go. What's up, guys? Welcome to Reading Recommendations. This is the part of the show where we provide comic books that were used to inspire the film. Okay, so first up we have Captain America Comics Issue 1, March of 1941, by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. This comic book issue serves as our introduction to one of the most iconic and recognizable Marvel heroes, Captain America. The backstory in the film follow very accurately to the comics. Steve Rogers was a 90-pound man with a belief of justice, so he entered a program and is injected with super soldier serum, making him the ultimate super soldier for World War II. His best friend and brother-in-arm, Bucky, is also in the comic, depicted as already a military man who welcomes Steve, just like the film does. Okay, next up we have is Captain America Comics Issue 2, April of 1941, by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. This comic shows us our first look at Captain America's iconic circular shield. Just like the film, his first appearance in the comics was introduced with a badge-shaped shield, but turns up with the new circular shield without explanation. The backstory of what metals make the shield would be explained in later comics over the years. Okay, next up we have is Captain America Comics Issue 7, October of 1941, by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. So this is the first appearance of Red Skull. The thing is, the introduction of Red Skull in the comics is a bit confusing as there was more than one Red Skull. We are introduced to our first Red Skull in Captain America Comics Issue 1, where he faces off Cap for the first time. But in later comics, we find out that the first Red Skull was a decoy working for the real Red Skull, who was introduced in Captain America Comics Issue 7. This Red Skull is named Johann Schmidt and is the more mainstream version of the character. In the comics, Red Skull also freezes in the ice with Captain America and poses a threat to Cap in modern day. Okay, next up we have is Strange Tales issue 135, August of 1965, by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. This comic shows us our introduction to Hydra. The comics have given Hydra a long and convoluted history, but in a nutshell, Hydra is an evil organization originally tied to the Nazis in World War II. The organization was also a main threat to S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, next up we have is Captain America issue 109, January of 1969, by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. This is a retelling of Captain America. After Marvel Comics got over the phase of making Captain America an American propaganda during the Second World War, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby decided to give Captain America a sort of a reboot. They worked together to do a retelling and a reimagine of the character's backstory during the Silver Age of comics. And finally, we have Captain America issue 162, June of 1973, by Steve Englehart and Sal Buscema. This comic book issue is our first introduction to Margaret Elizabeth Carter, also known as Peggy Carter. She was originally a background soldier helping Captain America during World War II, but she was later established as a love interest to Steve Rogers. She plays a vital role in the formation of S.H.I.E.L.D., just like the films. And that's going to be it for reading recommendations. As always, guys, check the description wherever you're listening. I will have the comic books in the description below. But yeah, with that being said, let's get back into the show. All right, guys, we're back. That was reading recommendations. Okay, guys, so yeah, we're going to give our final thoughts and our rating for this film, man. And I'm starting out. Listen, man, this movie is actually, it's great, man. I think it's a really great movie. I think it's a really great movie, man. I really enjoyed myself with this movie. I love fucking Steve Rogers' character. I love the relationships between him and Peggy and with Bucky. It's all believable, and it's a solid fucking superhero movie, man.
Yep.
And honestly, I enjoyed this more than Thor and the Incredible Hulk
I do too.
and Iron Man 2.
I do too.
But Iron Man, but I would say it's almost up there with Iron Man, the first Iron Man.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
If Red Skull was a stronger antagonist.
That's my thing, and that's the only major flaw that I really had with this movie, man. It was Red Skull, unfortunately. But everything else, man, I thought it was amazing, bro. A great, solid superhero movie, and this is where it's starting to pick up with the MCU for me. This is where it's like, okay, these movies now are finally picking up, and things are gonna be great,
Yes, sir.
and fire, right?
Yeah, man.
So with that being said, man, the rating that I'm gonna give this is gonna be an 8 out of 10.
An 8, yeah.
I think it's a great movie, great superhero movie, solid, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts, man. I can't really add anything else because we basically discussed everything.
The entire plot.
Yeah, and as we were going through the plot, we discussed the things that we liked, disliked, and stuff.
Yeah,
so it's really difficult to come up with other new shit.
Yeah.
What about you, Huff?
I will say that I do agree. I do agree with you. I do think that this was a very, very good movie. It was great, in my opinion. I felt as though that what they did with the character of Steve Rogers was very well done. I like how they were able to perfectly establish, his motives, the way that he thinks, the way that he believes, the concept of him remaining a good man. And, I liked the little themes about how, men with strength abuse power and things without it can value it. I loved Chris Evans' portrayal as Steve Rogers. I think he did a fantastic job. Just the overall story and how it's told and its flow, just how it all tells. Like, I remember when I was younger and I would watch this movie, I always felt like the movie was slower and boring, and that's why I was like, oh, it's a 7. Like, it's a good movie.
I got you.
But now being older and like rewatching it,
And
as
actually
a functioning
understanding
human
the theme.
being.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as a
right.
functioning human, fully developed human
as a fully
being.
developed functioning human being, I was able to not actually feel that. I actually appreciated the flow of the story. It didn't feel like it slowed down. It didn't feel boring. It didn't feel like long setup. Like, I actually felt that the movie flowed a lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I felt as though what they did with the character Steve Rogers was really well done. The origin story is well told. The themes and everything was really well done. I will agree that the only weak part of the movie would be Red Skull as a villain. And I do agree that maybe we should have seen him do more villain shit to kind of solidify that he is actually someone that we should take down. I know there's going to be people in the comments or something or whatever. People are going to be like, oh, like him being Hitler's partner is not enough.
No, yeah.
And it's
yeah.
listen, I get it, right? But it's also a big deal for your movie to establish those things for the audience to see. You can't just always tell the audience something. You got to show it. It's one of those things where you show, don't tell, right? But I think that, in my opinion, it's the only flaw with this movie, and I thought everything else was really well done. I was quite surprised as to how much I found myself enjoying this movie upon rewatching it in preparation for this super review, and I honestly ended up just leaving it just like honestly loving it. And I have I now have this newfound like respect and appreciation for this movie that I didn't have before. So for me, I got to give this a 9.
Oh, a 9. Oh, shit. Okay, Hive. Hell yeah. Okay, so yeah, just a quick recap. Hive's giving it a 9. I'm giving it an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Still, it's a great superhero movie, man. Besides the whole Red Skull ordeal, but let us know what you guys think. What would you guys rate this movie? And that's gonna be it. But before we really close off, right, we're gonna get into the questions. And here's the thing, guys: we only have one question, so we're just gonna go over that question, and we'll pretty much close out the show, man.
The show.
So the first and only question is gonna be from Sheldon M, man. Shout out to you, bro. He says, I remember reading about that when hiring someone to play Captain America, John Krasinski, who plays Jim in The Office and Mr. Fantastic from Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, was one of the many actors to play as Captain America. Do you guys think he could have done a great job as Captain America? If not, what kind of superhero you think fits him? Thanks for answering my questions. Hope you guys have a great day or night. Shout out to you, bro. So we kind of answered this. You kind of answered this question
earlier during Super Facts.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think, Hav?
Would he have been a good Captain America? I think so.
And if not, let's say, or even if so, right?
Yeah.
Which
Who
other,
else would he play?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's the thing. I think he would have played a really good Captain America, bro. I mean, we never really got to see his shot, but given the acting that we've seen him play, like I most recently saw him play If. He was in the If movie. He also directed that movie. He was also Jim from The Office, right? Which I know a lot of people love him for that. He was also in A Quiet Place, but you know, in the movies that I've seen him and what I've seen him in, like and all that, I think he probably would have played a good Captain America if given the chance. I think maybe they went with what's it called, Chris Evans, because at the time he already had the physicality. He was just naturally already like a buff person. He probably, like Chris Hemsworth, right, for Thor, he probably put on more muscle for the role, but he probably was already built, and maybe John Krasinski wasn't, or maybe I don't know what. But I think he would have made a good Captain America. Now, right, to answer the other question, like who else would I've liked to have seen? Honestly, it's one of those things, bro, where like I'm with Hector on this one. I am like kind of bad in predicting like what actor's good for what role. Like I can't really say, oh, this person would have played a great Spider-Man, Wolverine, right, or some shit. I'm really bad at like choosing people. I'm one of those people where I go online and I see other people fan cast and I judge that. I go, that's really bad, or no, you know what, that's actually really good. I'm like that, you know what I mean? But and in that same fashion, when I heard people fan cast him to be Mr. Fantastic, who we then saw to be confirmed to be a variant of Reed Richards in Multiverse of Madness.
I believe that, man.
I got behind that.
Yeah, I got behind that.
I was like, okay, I could see him being like the smart, intellectual. Like after Tony Stark, who else do you have? Well, it only makes sense that you introduce Reed Richards into the universe. So to see John Krasinski play a Mr. Fantastic would have been fire. Now, granted, I'm not mad that my boy Pedro Pascal is going to be playing him. That's fire. Right. But before he was in the picture and people were fan casting him, I thought that would have been fire. And seeing him Multiverse of Madness was fire. And I thought the rumors would have been true. And when we saw him get murked, I was like, oh. And I was like, well, technically that's from another universe. What if in the main 616 MCU timeline type shit, like we see another variant of Reed Richards and it's actually John Krasinski? Like I was hoping for that, or who knows what's gonna happen. But it's one of those things, bro, where like I can't really pin an actor to a role. But based on the fan cast of Reed Richards, I would see him play Reed Richards, if not Captain America. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, man. I definitely hear what you're saying, bro. I kind of agree as well. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I can't really add on to that because I agree with you. So I can't really add on to that, Sheldon, bro, because I agree with Hav. I mean, we also talked about it earlier in the pod in the Super Facts section. So yeah, I can't really add much to that. I agree with what Hav is saying, for sure. And yeah, that's gonna be it, man. That's the only question that we have, and that's really gonna be end, man. That's gonna be the end of this, man. All right, so hang up your capes, because yeah, that's the end of this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, we hope to assemble again very soon. But until then, wait for our signal. Take care, guys.
See ya.